My grandma was hiding Jews in the basement behind haystacks, hiding a family of 3. And the Nazis came to the house and said, "Are you hiding Jews?" And my grandma said, "No."
How old was she?
I would be wrong if I answered you.
Not 5.
No.
She was like 15, 20, something like that.
She was old enough to talk to the officers. And they did a whole tour of the house, and they didn't find them. And my grandma tells me that story that, like, she literally saved the family, bro. Literally. Like, we never feel that, like, that's war. That's things they felt on the reg because the war was on their turf.
What's cooking, everybody? This conversation I just had is with a superstar of the hospitality industry, a genuinely great guy, and my lifelong best friend since we were 4 or 5 years old. I am joined in the bunker today by my buddy Niko Karolidis. I knew the hardest part of getting him in here would be actually convincing him to do this, but once I did, I knew he'd be a natural. He was. Once we started talking about soccer, I mean, it was off to the races. This guy, love this dude. It's like my brother, basically. So I wasn't going to do this podcast without bringing him in here, and I look forward to doing it again 100%. You're basically getting 2 old friends bullshitting like we always do. And it's funny because I'm like more nervous when it's him coming in because like I want it to be just perfect. So hopefully I loosened up there after a while there, but he's awesome. So you'll thoroughly enjoy him. Now, if you haven't gotten your 8 Sleep Pod Pro mattress or your 8 Sleep Pod Pro cover yet, do you want to sleep better at night or don't you? It's a very simple question because I don't know why you haven't gotten it. We all have to sleep, and 8 Sleep is bringing tech to sleep. Now you say, okay, well, I don't want to buy a full mattress. Well, let me tell you what the mattress does first, and then we'll get to the next thing, okay? The mattress is hooked into 8 Sleep's proprietary app and adjusts all kinds of shit, including the temperature of your body throughout the night and your sleep stages, to your preferences to be able to give you a full night's sleep and make you feel like you got 8 hours of sleep when really maybe you only slept 6. So whatever you're sleeping on right now, if it's a foam mattress or something like that where you have to do all the work and lay back and get rid of your thoughts and then shut your eyes and hope something good happens, 8 Sleep will scientifically and technologically, if you will, help you actually get there and fall asleep, stay asleep, and not be restless. And by the way, it adjusts to different sides of the bed. So if you and your partner have different preferences and sleep stages, their app will adjust to that, and again, keep the 2 sides in a different setting accordingly to be able to get you both your own great night's sleep. Now, the second part of it, and this is why I said, let me explain the mattress first. The second part of it is the cover. The cover is not the full mattress. It's also much less expensive than the mattress. And the cover, the 8 Sleep Pod Pro cover, comes in queen bed sizes and king bed sizes. And all it is the same exact thing as the mattress, except if you like the feel of the current mattress that you sleep on, which is perfectly acceptable, you can just get the cover and put it on top of that mattress and get all the same benefits that the actual Pod Pro full-blown mattress gives you. So the mattress itself starts at around $3,000. The cover starts at around $1,700. And if you use the link in my description or the link in my Instagram bio, whatever floats your boat, and then the code TRENDIFIER at checkout on either one of those 2 items, you will get $100 off. And trust me, you will not regret it. It's a phenomenal product. People who are very into performance, like athletes and things like that, this is the kind of thing they swear by. You can check out some of the people who are behind the product on 8 Sleep's website, and I also know that a lot of people who aren't officially paid to be on the product use it. It's very, very well liked, and it's basically starting to take over the mattress world here. I mean, tech improves everything, so shout out to 8 Sleep. They're doing an awesome job, and if you want to support the show and get a better night's sleep, hit that link, use that code, get one of them. You'll love me for it. Anyway, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. We are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. And if you're on YouTube right now, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell button, and leave a like and comment on this video, if you would, please. To everyone who has been leaving a 5-star review with a comment on Apple Podcasts, Thank you. It's huge. If you don't listen on Apple Podcasts and you're a Spotify person or you watch on YouTube and you happen to own an iPhone and you can take a minute to go to the show page on Apple Podcasts and leave a 5-star review with a comment, it is a huge help, and I would really, really appreciate it if you did. Finally, to all of the listeners out there, the loyal listeners, once again, if you have a favorite recent episode or if you really like this episode and you'd like to send it to a friend who listens to podcasts who you think would enjoy it, that'd be awesome. That word of mouth thing, if we could start doing that every week, that will continue to grow the audience. And this podcast will continue to grow, and your boy here will be able to eat thanks to all of you. I appreciate everything you do, and once again, thank you for listening to the show. That said, you know what it is. I'm Julian Dorey, and this is TRENDIFIER. Let's go! This is one of the great questions in our culture. Where is the nuance? You're giving opinions and calling them facts. You feel me? Everyone understands this, but few seem to do it. If you don't like the status quo, start asking questions.
When I tune in with all my cousins in Greece, man, and I hear what they're going through, they were in complete lockdown for 9 months. Complete lockdown.
To be clear, you're a dual Greek citizen, so you have a great understanding. You haven't been over there this year, but you have a great...
No, I haven't been over there in 2 years.
Okay. But your whole life, you spent months out of the year over
all
there.
Summers, all the time with, my family and my cousins and all. But
so what's it look like over there?
When I check in with them just to see what's going on in Europe, Europe, in Greece, in Italy, dude, it's ridiculous. They had it so much worse than us. That's why I'm we live in the best country in the world, bro.
Yep.
And we're handling COVID because it's not done yet. A lot better than a lot of other countries. So if I have to go into a restaurant and wear a mask, and then sit down and have a beer and chill with my friends and take it off, I'm at least I get to do that. They were locked down for 8 months, complete lockdown. You would have to text the government that you are leaving your house to walk your dog, to go to the grocery stores, and you'd have to get an approved message.
Wait a second.
On your phone.
They were texting a human being at the government.
You personally had to text a government number, to leave your home and wait for an approval to leave your home. And then you were able to go. When you say
leave your home, does that include literally walking outside?
Yes, walking outside.
You had to text the government to walk outside.
And get an approval. You had to wait for an approval.
Did they say yes?
They said yes or no. I don't know what they said. I never did it.
So they could say no. I need to walk outside. No, you can't.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
That's fucking crazy.
But you had if you went and you didn't have an approval, they could stop you and say, okay, what's your reasoning for being out? And you'd show them. You'd be like, good, look, I texted, I got an acceptance. I'm good. I'm clear.
Did you have any friends just sneak out and not do it?
No.
So
because the fines were so bad.
Who the fuck?
Fines, bro.
So they had cops out on the street
all the time. Right now in Greece, they stopped the complete lockdown, and you're able to go out to the bars. There's an 11 o'clock curfew, which is absurd for Greece because you remember when we went how it was.
People don't go out until 12 a.m.
Dude,
can you tell people about the culture in Greece and nightlife? Just describe that for people.
It's a lot later. Everything is later, and everything is slower.
Mm-hmm.
So the clubs would open around 2 or 3, and then they would close around noon, 11 noon. So
he's not kidding.
Everything's later. But dude, right now you can't stay at a bar for later than 11 o'clock, and there's no music in the bars. They disallowed music.
So it's just silent.
It's silent. All you hear is the shakers.
Has everyone just got AirPods in, or?
Dude, no music. No music at the beach bars, no music at the bars. That's why, like, when I think of COVID here, I'm like, wow, like, we got it great. Think about it.
Comparatively speaking?
To the majority of, probably the majority of the countries. And we have the resources. We have the muscle. We're in the best country in the world, bro. So when I talk about COVID, I'm like, dude, like, you can't be bitching about COVID here. You can't be.
I think that it's like anything else. Just because you have it the best doesn't mean you don't want to improve things that are wrong with any type of system, right?
Yeah.
Like even with our government, that's a very common one people talk about. Like I rip on the government all the time. I think these two parties are ridiculous. I think the whole thing's a goddamn charade in D.C. I say that, and then at the same time, I also say that if I think our government's a piece of shit, it is by far the best piece of shit in the world. Yeah. And you know what I mean? It's not close. Doesn't mean I don't want to see a lot of things change and see it improve. So I think a lot of people here, first of all, that's an amazing perspective you have. And obviously it's a lot to do with your background and some of the things you have access to that other people don't. But also seeing as how frustrating it is being in the restaurant business and things that you couldn't do to still have that perspective is amazing. That said, I don't think that changes the narrative for people around this country who maybe had a business for 30, 40 years that got shut down and it's never going to open up again and they feel like they have nothing to live for. I don't think that narrative changes because Greece had it worse. You know what I mean? So I appreciate where you're coming from. I just worry about some of the long-term damage this did to people. And like, look, I get it. Like, unprecedented situation. We had to do some things. I don't doubt that at all. It's just the length that we went. I mean, frankly, I never said anything until those second lockdowns came. Like November, December is when I started to go, oh, this is...
They only did PA. They didn't lock down Jersey.
PA, New York, yeah.
PA, New York.
So I guess Jersey was...
Jersey didn't get shut down.
Jersey got pretty... Like Murphy got relatively looser.
Yeah.
Like as it went along. Compared to like New York and PA. Yeah.
Began loose and then tightened up a little bit. They shut us down before the holidays. And then they opened us up again after the holidays. They shut us down for 3 weeks and then opened us up again. Jersey stayed open.
Yeah.
It's weird. I mean...
It's
weird, but it is what it is.
People like to go right at corruption with stuff. I'm sure there was elements of that in places, no doubt about it. But there's also, to me, it was like a lot of the guessing game was just stupidity.
The worst is yet to come for me in COVID, though.
Wait, what?
For the restaurant industry?
Yeah.
For me, the worst is yet to come, I believe.
Why do you say that?
Because there are tremendous staff limitations in factories where they're manufacturing and producing food. And a lot of the items that I order are not available.
Wait a second. That's interesting coming from you because you guys own a food distributorship on top of the whole business. I mean, you guys got the real vertical integration going. Hell of a business. But you still can't get food?
Yeah. There's a shortage.
So when you're ordering stuff, you're talking
national shortage.
You're talking about ordering stuff like through the distributorship.
Yeah. Yeah.
How long has this been going on, the shortage?
2 or 3 months.
And what kinds of things aren't you able to get?
Chicken wings.
Can't get them.
Chicken wings, we get them, but we're not making money off of it.
Because they're that expensive.
Yeah. And after the summer, they're saying that there's going to be a national shortage of crab meat.
Well, I'm trying to think the parallel or correlation there.
There's staff limitations in factories, and they can't produce enough.
And are you talking about factories within this country?
Yes. Manufacturing food at the farms.
And why do you think that is?
Why do I think that is?
We'll go there. Let's do it.
You know the answer to that.
What's the answer? I don't know the answer. I might know the answer, but I don't know.
Come on, man.
Is it the government?
It's the unemployment.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at.
That's why, huge shout out, love, and thanks to all my employees that stuck with me. We never had to complete shutdown. They stuck with me. They worked for us.
That's amazing.
They, they could have said no, like I quit, or I don't want to work anymore, or I don't feel safe. But the support that I had, not just from the community, but from my workforce, that stayed next to me and worked with me through everything. Huge shout out, thanks and love to that, because I wouldn't have been able to run my business without the employees and the staff and the support. So
that's awesome.
That was, I think, something that I will always cherish and remember and be thankful for.
Now, are you running into any problems though now, where you can't get enough people?
Yeah, right now, just because everything's opening up again and the business is starting to get back to like normal.
Yeah,
with the dine-in opening up last week,
the bar's open.
PA, the bar is open. You can sit at the bar top now. Now I'm starting to like really find myself being short in a lot of aspects, but I think it's gonna get worse for big companies and big factories and the mass production. It's really struggling with labor.
I remember
very short.
A friend of ours, I'm not gonna say who, but he hit me up maybe 3-4 weeks into the pandemic last year so at the beginning, obviously, like everything, like they weren't being loose with the term essential business unless it was literally like food or something like that. But then they allowed some other places to be operational, maybe like 4 weeks in. And our friend hit me up and said, we got a big problem, because they thought they were going to die because in a day when it shut down, they lost their entire revenue for the next basically 12 months. And they're like, holy shit, this company that was a multi-million-dollar company now is suddenly like, we can't pay our bills. So they get back open and they're trying to salvage as much of that to cover their operating costs for the year. And they need to bring their people back. But they couldn't pay their people enough because the government was paying them more. And they're like, what the fuck do we do? He's like, bro, this is going to be a problem on everything. And like, look, I obviously empathize with the fact that, when you shut down people's ability to eat, and the government was forcing it, then the government's got to pay them out. I get that. And maybe even early on like that, like 4 weeks in, I get it if we weren't readjusted, right? Because shit was still wild right then, and we didn't know a lot. But my understanding, and I'm going to go above my pay grade here with some of this because I haven't crunched all the numbers inside out, but my understanding is that a lot of those systems and benefits have remained very much the same, and people are still getting that. And, here we are 15, 16 months in, and now it's actually affecting things where people who already had jobs they hated and maybe lives they hated and had a lack of purpose or whatever it is, they didn't feel good in their job. They're making enough sitting at home, and they've gotten so used to just scrolling on their phone and getting addicted to this thing that they hate, but they love it. You know what I mean? That now they're like, oh, nah, fuck that. We don't need to go work again. And we're not at a point where we've already just been able to take the robots and put them in there to the jobs that are going to get automated away. So overnight, you can't just rip off that Band-Aid.
Right.
So you're seeing that in food.
Yeah. Seeing that in food.
And when did you say, you told me this, but when did it start again? Like a couple months ago?
The shortages, well, price increases have been going up for the inventory. Everything's been increasing, everything. But the shortages probably within the past 2 weeks.
I worry about...
We're ordering things and they're like, we don't have it. I'm like, all right, well, I have to take it off my menu. I mean, what the heck?
I mean, food is one of the most interesting ones because it's so fast. You don't order food for like, we're going to store that for 6 months. There's some things you can, obviously. But like, there's a lot of shit you're like ordering it because you need it. Like people are eating and they're going to shit it out and come back and order it again. So when you get a supply chain interruption like that, dude, a shockwave of even like 2 or 3, like a shockwave, like 2 or 3 weeks can fuck over the whole year for the entire business.
Yeah. The other good thing we have in our advantage is we make a lot in-house. We make a lot of our own stuff. So, I mean, there's not going to be a shortage of butter or like salt or, you know, we make our own soups, we make our own sauces, we make our own desserts. We make a lot. A lot of our appetizers are made by us. So,
what about the ingredients though?
That's the thing. The ingredients are a common necessity. They're running out of things like that come ready that you have to freeze and just, you know, drop in the fryer or something. You know what I mean?
I do
like
know.
You're not going to have a shortage of milk.
Are we?
You can't have a shortage of it. The price will go up, but you can't have like of a common necessity like eggs, milk.
But if there's not,
they're not going to say we have a shortage of that.
If there's not the people
jack
taking
up the prices.
That's what I'm saying though. If there's not the people taking care of getting that to you, I'm not just talking to farmers.
It could happen. It could happen, but I think that's unrealistic, extreme.
Have you seen this pipeline hack? And then I just saw the other one came across.
The oil?
There was the oil, and then there was the something. It just happened like 3-4 days ago, but I haven't looked at it yet. I just thought of it. It was like in the meat sector, something like that.
I didn't see that.
So there was some other hack on like. I'll have to pull that up and check it, but there was the hack on the pipeline.
Yeah.
That then. I don't know if you saw some of the videos online from that, by the way.
No, I didn't.
Oh, my God. So you didn't see the lady filling up gas in plastic bags?
No.
Oh, my God, dude. You haven't seen that video?
No, I don't.
Bro.
I really don't tune into that much.
I got to show. Yeah, you're busy. I got to show you this. But when we had, people were getting so worried about the goddamn gas that they were like.
The gas did go up, though, bro.
Oh, it did.
It did go
but
up.
But this lady starts filling bags, like literally shopping bags. She's at a gas pump. This is when I start to lose a little faith in humanity. But she's at a gas pump, and she starts filling the shopping bag with gas. You can't make this shit up.
Where is this?
Look at this. This is somewhere in America. Look. There's gas in that fucking bag. look at it sloshing, and now she's tying it. Hold on, she's gonna put it in her trunk now too. Oh, now she's
have like a gas
she's
tank?
double bagging it. I forgot about that. She thought double bagging it was gonna do the trick. There's fucking gas. There's gas leaking all over the ground.
Where is this, bro?
Bro, I don't know, but
You sure this is?
oh, and you know what? That was the
At
other
a
thing.
Wawa.
This is an old video too. This isn't even from the gas shortage. This was not even during a time of desperation. This was December 2019. I forgot about that. But there were funny videos of people doing it during the shortage. But she is literally filling her trunk with plastic bags of gasoline. America, man. I don't know what to tell
hilarious.
you. But, I mean, we saw what that can do.
So that's what I'm talking
it hiked
about.
prices.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know, like that's happening in oil. You know, it's going to be happening in a lot of places. Like if it's happening in the oil business, it's happening in the food business. It's going to be happening everywhere, man. These shortages, and I think this is just the beginning. That's what I meant when I said like the hardest part right now, I think, is still yet to come.
Yeah, this was, by the way, I just pulled this up while you were talking. This was the latest hack, and this is why it's interesting, because you're bringing up food. Largest meat producer getting back online after cyber attack. So this is directly in meat. You were saying you were having problems with chicken. Obviously, that happened before this did. But this is from the AP. I'll have the link probably on the site. But the world's largest meat processing company has resumed most production after a weekend cyber attack, but experts say the vulnerabilities exposed by this attack and others are far from resolved. In a statement late Wednesday, the FBI attributed the attack on Brazil-based meat processor JBSSA to R-Evil, a Russian-speaking gang always a Russian-speaking gang, that has made some of the largest ransomware demands on record in recent months. The FBI said it will work to bring the group to justice, and it urged anyone who is the victim of a cyber attack to contact the Bureau immediately. The attack targeted servers supporting JBS's operations in North America and Australia. Backup servers weren't affected, and the company said it was not aware of any customer, supplier, or employee data being compromised. What did they... It stopped production, though, or something. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't have time to look through the article right now, but it stopped.
So this is like a perfect example of like what I was talking about. Like, say I was in the business of like a steakhouse, and then a lot of my cuts were Brazilian steak. Like, that would definitely aid to either a shortage or a tremendous price increase.
Supply and demand, man.
Yeah, man. It's crazy.
I read this book right at the beginning of the pandemic. It was like the first 3 weeks of the pandemic when the market was crashing. I was working with the clients all day, and then at night I was building this, and then on the weekends I'd find some free time, and I got through a few books. And one of the ones I read that I was like, it was a page turner. I went through it in like 6 hours, just boom, boom, boom. It was called Sandworm. You ever hear of that? Mm-mm. It was by, what the hell is his name? Great tech reporter, Andy Greenberg. That's it. So he's a great reporter who was with, I believe, Wired for a lot of years. I don't know if he's still there, but well-known tech reporter. He was a guy who had a lot of the Silk Road story back in the day. And it was all about these Russian government-sponsored hacking teams and what they've done and how they've been able to do it. You know, so everyone was talking about the election in 2016. That was one thing, and there was a lot there. But first of all, it's not just always government-sponsored, just like, you know, they find some hackers and say, yo, we'll help you out. They literally bring them into the government, too. Yeah. So there's a team in the GRU, which is like a Russian like state police or something like that, called the 77445. And I believe they are codenamed like Fancy Bear. I could be mixing up a couple of the ones, but Fancy Bear was like a famous hacking group that was responsible for a lot of hacks, I think around, it was ransomware. I don't want to say it was around, but there were what it was around, but there was a lot of public stories on things that they had done. And the thing that scared the fuck out of me with that book was how they described what they were testing out to be able to do. So as an example, you know, Russia's always picking on Ukraine. Always. You know, the whole Crimea thing. But they shut down, and a lot of Americans don't know this, they shut down the entire power system in Ukraine for like 5 days one time. Just hacked in. Because all this shit, everything we do now is backed by computer servers. It's not separate from like the cloud, right? So they can do this. And they get it, like we've done it too. Like the NSA famously did it. I mean, it's been exposed now. They did it to Iran, which is kind of funny. Sorry. But when Iran was producing nuclear weapons down, you know, below ground somewhere secret in Iran, I never remember how to say it, but they would wait until they got to the final step. Like they would spend months building this fucking nuclear bomb, and then the final step would involve them hitting a button and testing like a transistor or something that tested whether, I'm going to get way above my pay grade, but tested like whether the uranium was going to be potent enough or whatever. And every single time they would test it, the NSA would be like, all right, now's the time to blow it. And they'd hit a button because it's connected to a computer system, and they'd blow it up. And all the guys would be like, what the fuck? Like freaking out every single time. But the same way that we did that, that's how like these Russian teams and other foreign agents have been hacking into systems. And so now, you know, fast forward over a year later after I'm reading this, I'm seeing shit that could very well be that happen. And now, you know, this meatpacking one, they are attributing that to a Russian hacking team. And so like we look at this world now where you can be in a traditional business, like, you know, run in a restaurant or run in a bar or, you know, run in a basic, I mean, shit, dude, anything that requires any kind of parts, anything that requires any type of resource, which is pretty much anything. And out of nowhere, something halfway around the world, up in space, up in the cybersphere, can totally pull the rug out from under you. It's almost like COVID is a symbol rather than the actual rule itself. It's crazy to think about.
It's nuts. And so, like, the side effects, I feel like, haven't really hit yet.
What do you mean
COVID.
side effects?
Like, in the markets that we're talking about, like in manufacturing companies and stuff like that, COVID still hasn't hit that part yet. It affected our lives, our, like, daily, let's go out, let's get a drink. You can't. So it shot that. The first step was that. Things were closed. You couldn't really live the life that you were used to living. But now we're gonna be seeing some really interesting things, I feel like. Not just price increases, but shortages in many different ways, whether it's gas or food or like I don't know.
And
I feel like we're gonna get surprised.
It all comes back.
There's a surprise coming up. That's just how I feel.
What do you mean? Hold on. I can't let you get off that.
Dude, I'm telling you.
I can't just say surprise. What's the surprise?
I feel like right now, everything's up and running. We're at 100% capacity. You can go out, you can get a drink. But, like, I don't know. I just have a feeling that, like these shortages are starting to hit us. We've never had shortages before. It's like, what the heck?
I mean, we have, but I understand.
Not to this
like
extent.
Yeah.
We've never, like, in my life, I have never seen, like, a shortage of food the way I'm seeing it, a shortage of fuel the way I'm seeing it.
Where it's unexpected like that.
Yeah, okay, the gas went up. It's at $3.50, okay. But, like, 14 gas stations out of 20 in North Carolina don't have gas. You're like, wait, what? They don't have gas? And they're lined up to get gas. It's like there's no gas. It's like, what? Shortages and, like, things like this. And I just feel like it's just the beginning. You know what I mean? I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't know.
No, I think there's
I mean, I always just expect the worst because it's how I'm wired to expect, like, the worst. And I'm just like, okay, you know, if this is happening, imagine what's going to happen next. What could happen next?
That's the thing.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's always, like, in the back of my mind of, like, owning and running my own restaurant. I expect the worst. So I see this stuff and I'm like, okay, if this can happen, then fucking this can happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Does it make sense what I'm saying?
100%.
My train of thought goes there.
100%.
Naturally, it goes there. You know?
I think that's what we're doing on everything as a society now. Because this was so crazy. This whole thing. I mean, absurd. Do you remember calling me? I'll never forget this. You called me on Saturday, March 14th. I'd started quarantining the day before. And you were like, yo, what's up, man? I was like, yo. And you're like, so what's going on? I'm like, yo, bro, how are you? And you're like, Malak, I'm good. What's cooking? I'm like, are you okay? Like, is the restaurant gonna live? You're like, what are you talking about? What do you mean is a restaurant gonna live? Of course it's gonna live. I'm like, Niko, I don't think you're gonna be open on Monday. What? I'll never forget that. And then Monday morning.
You were scared, man.
Dude, I was spooked the fuck out.
You were scared, man.
Because I was up there. And
you were in New York.
Oh my God, man. And I was with a doctor on Friday the 13th in the morning, and he was the guy and this guy was like a cool cat, and he was like, listen, I kind of thought this was bullshit a couple weeks ago. I don't now. And he explained the whole thing, and I was like, oh, fuck. And then, like, I started getting friends or people I knew who had it and had it bad, like, that day, and I was like, holy fuck.
It turned the world upside down, and, you know, it's something that we have to deal with, and our lives are going to change forever. But in my short life, bro, COVID showed me how dangerous fear could have and the impact fear could have on people. It's a bad thing, man. Fear is a bad thing.
It's a great tool.
It's not good.
It's a great tool, though. Like, and I don't mean that like great, like, oh, it's great. Like, I mean,
it's like a Bronx Tale right now.
How's it like a Bronx Tale?
Yeah, when he's talking with Sonny about the fear and all. Love.
Oh,
Would you rather be loved or feared?
I'd rather be feared.
Yeah, but dude, it's powerful, man. Fear. COVID made us fear each other.
Yes.
Like you were afraid to come to my house.
At the very beginning.
In the beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not. Respect. I'm not like one of those people that COVID doesn't exist. I respect COVID.
Yeah.
Gabriella, my girlfriend forever that I love so much. She's a doctor. She's around this all the time. She
100%.
tells me the inside scoops of it. I'm very understandable about COVID and the impacts that it can have on somebody, and it changes from person to person. But like, it's just the fact that you were afraid to come to my house, bro.
It's crazy.
It's nuts.
It's crazy. At the very beginning, on what I was getting, and like when it was hitting home, like, the guy who worked 3 feet to the left of me, wild story, but healthy guy, late 40s, in shape, like played on the softball team, worked out 4 days a week. He actually lived. And I say actually lived because he was in a coma on a respirator for 55 days.
Yeah.
He was one of the first ones to go down, right? Like bad. And so I knew all this at the time. I was like, holy fuck. And I was running around New York City that whole month leading up to it. And I'm like, oh my God, did I give it to him? I was freaking out. I didn't. But, you're right though. It made us, at the very beginning, there was absolutely a reason for that. Because no one knew what
no one knew.
There was no data. Dude, we were putting people on respirators and God bless the doctors. No one knew. That was a horrible idea. Killed people. No one tried to do that. That's just what happened. We didn't realize, that's not how you treat it. That's one example out of a million. We knew nothing. So, like, the fear, I get it. Your point, though, is huge because fear is not just this quote-unquote weapon that's used for, like, a week and then people go, okay, you can go back. Once it's used and individuals or entities in a society gain power off of it, then they want more.
Yeah.
Then they want more, then they want more, and they want more, and they want more. And we saw that. It's not like people love to go right at the government. Obviously, I do too. But it's not just that. Like, look at who won here. I do look at Amazon and say, like, they were fucking cleaning up. Yeah. And then, Bezos owns the Washington Post, and the Washington Post is putting out all these stories for months and months and a year about how we need to lock down. And I'm like, well, that's a little bit of a conflict of interest, because the more locked down we are, the more packages that you're fucking sending from Amazon to all these goddamn places. And I don't care what you say, that's how it looks. And we saw this type of thing. We saw the clear winners. And I love that you bring, love is the wrong word, but I appreciate the fact that you bring that up because I have been thinking about fear and the power of marketing that fear holds within it a lot recently. And I mean, I guess what you're trying to say is that those attitudes we had like day one have just persisted. And in your opinion, you reached a point, whenever that was, I won't speak for you, I'll let you speak. But, you reached a point somewhere along there where it's like, okay, well, what's going to be is going to be. There's only so much I can control.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I saw it at firsthand with, just being around people all the time. And then my dining room's closed and I'm able to do takeout and delivery. And even with takeout, like, people were afraid, bro. Like, we were doing curbside pickup and they're like, okay, we can leave the food on the ground. I'm like, you want me to leave the food on the ground? Like, you don't want me to put it in your trunk? They're like, no, leave it on the ground and, like, walk away. I'm like, all right. It's like I'm holding, like, a gun or something. But anyway, it changed our life, changed the world. It is what it is.
Yeah, let's see how we come out of it.
Life goes on.
Yeah.
Life goes on. Things change. Nothing lasts forever. The ball keeps on rolling.
That's the thing. I am cautiously optimistic now, and I really am, because what I've seen the last month is a lot of great signs from people. And obviously saw the mask mandate get lifted, which was obviously very much needed, considering the logic behind the fact that a lot of people were able to get vaccinated.
Yep.
Like I'm fully vaccinated now. So
Yep.
if people like you and me had access to that at this point, like, look,
man.
it's everywhere. It's in CVS's. It's in fucking train
Yeah.
stations. You can get it anywhere.
Yeah.
Like, so if you didn't get it, no problem. Like, that's your decision. That's not
Takes
what I
2
would
minutes.
do.
You go, poop.
That's
goodbye.
it. And so, like, we're at a point where the people who have gotten it, or the people who haven't gotten it, it's not because they didn't have a chance to.
Yeah.
And, you know, chances are they elected not to. So
They
let's
elected
fucking
not
go.
to because I don't want to talk about COVID too much, but it's just, I don't know, man. It's
What do you think of that,
their
though?
push. It's too much, man.
What, with
I
the
feel like,
vaccine?
Yeah,
100%.
It's like, here, take the vaccine. I'll give you season tickets to the Sixers game. You're just like, oh wait, whoa, why the heck?
All right, we are talking
Why
about
are you
this.
giving me season tickets to the Sixers game to take the vaccine when something's not right here? It's I don't know, man.
I got a theory on this. I want to run it by you.
All right.
I love that you brought this up. I think that the vaccine is the latest thing that the two parties want to use as a major divisive tactic to divide the quote-unquote 99% of society, below the 1%, and make them hate each other over something. My theory is that the way these entities, meaning Republicans and Democrats, stay in power is that they consistently convince, and it's not just my theory, there's a lot smarter people than me who have put this out there for a long time, and I'm just parroting it. But they've consistently convinced people that their enemies are each other, you know, as the wealth gap opens up and everyone gets more and more pissed off at what they can and can't do in society and a lack of purpose, all this shit. Oh, no. It's not the fault of the people who are fucking you over in power. No, it's not their fault. Meaning it's not our fault. It's the fault of, that guy over there who has a different skin color or likes a different way of doing something on some political belief. Therefore, you two need to fight about that and hate each other. And so when I look at this vaccine, I float way above it, right? So I'm fully vaccinated. I had no hesitation in doing it. Makes me feel great. I don't have to worry about a goddamn thing. I wasn't that worried, to be honest. I'm a mid-20s male. Like, it's not much for me to worry about, but now I really don't have to worry. And the science of the vaccine is fantastic. This is one of the most successful vaccines ever made, regardless of whatever happened behind the scenes as far as like who got to make it and whatever. I don't fucking care. Like if people line their pockets with it, more power to them. Fuck them. Like if they get caught, send them to jail. I'm more worried about does it work or doesn't it? And it works. And then when you look at the science behind it and what people will convince themselves, bro, there is no microchip from Bill Gates going into your veins. Period.
Yeah.
But your point about the too much thing, they are marketing this to get people to not take it. What's the number one, not the number one, but one of the many rules of psychology? If you want someone to do something, if you want someone to do something, the best way to get them not to do it is to fucking pull them aside and tell them to do it over and over again. They are convincing very smart people, might I add, from across the political spectrum. It's not just right-wingers. They are convincing very smart people. I have gotten texts from the last people in the world I would assume it from to question things and be like, no, this is fucking crazy. Like, there's something going on here. And get scared because they're getting push-button notifications from fucking Instagram as to where they are right now and where they can get the nearest vaccine. It's nuts.
It is nuts. It is nuts. It's a little too much, but I'm not doubting the science behind it. I'm not doubting the doctors or anything.
Yep. Agreed.
It's I think they're doing it. They're pushing hard because we've been like this for almost more than a year, man.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's time for everything to start moving, the economy to start getting back to normal, everything to start getting back to normal. And just get rid of the fear, get the vaccine. Let's get back to normal, basically. And a lot of people are skeptical because, this made us question a lot of, the news and everything.
Exactly.
This whole year made us change our whole image of the news. And I feel like that's why there's a lot of pushback.
Do you watch any news?
No.
Yeah,
I never
smart.
have. Never.
Smart.
Only soccer. Only
They
soccer.
don't inject the news into that, do they?
Only soccer. That's the realest thing for me.
What went on?
Can I have some more whiskey?
Oh, are you empty over
Same
there?
price?
You're hiding behind the thing. Yeah, it's the same price.
All right.
What? Actually, explain that though. What was going on with that league they made? This is like a month ago.
The Champions League thing?
Yeah.
That was
explain this. I'm lost.
A hooks, bro. That was a hooks. 2 days. It lasted 2 days.
But what was it? And it's over. It's over, right?
You really want me to explain all this?
Yes, explain it.
All right. So the beauty of soccer in Europe is that if you do well, you get rewarded. And that's not the case in American sports. For example, if you're in last place in the NBA, you're still in the NBA. You don't go to the D League.
Yeah.
In soccer, it's different in Europe.
Relegated.
You're
right?
you get relegated. You do shit 1 year in the NBA, you're out of the NBA, you're in the D League. Mm-hmm. And that allows the lower clubs, it gives them something to look forward to. It gives them a vision of a dream of being in the NBA for like the smaller teams that are in the D League.
Right.
You know what I mean? And what they wanted to do was create their own league.
Who?
Like the dominant teams in Europe.
All the different leagues.
Real Madrid's,
Yeah.
your Barcelona's. No, the biggest clubs in Europe wanted to create their own league. And they would consistently play against each other all the time. So, I mean, it'd be great for spectators. It'd be good for business. It'd be great for TV. It'd generate a lot of money because you'd constantly be watching Manchester United, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Real Madrid versus Liverpool versus Barcelona, Liverpool versus United. Like,
Would they be leaving their existing leagues?
no, it'd be a separate league.
Oh, so they're playing in like 2 leagues.
And they wanted to stop Champions League. And they wanted to have their own league of the best teams in Europe constantly playing against each other.
Wait,
all
but
the
how is
time.
that different? Because Champions League, you have to qualify for
yeah.
it.
Like PAOK, for example. PAOK, my favorite soccer team in the whole wide world.
Knew we were going to get
PAOK.
that in here.
They never entered Champions League, ever. They've always played in Europa League, which is, the league below. But if this Champions League thing that they tried to create that failed ended up going through and getting approved, PAOK would never be able to play again in Champions League, ever. Because it'd be 12 teams constantly playing against each other, and you couldn't have the opportunity for the small clubs.
And there was no system to boot a team if they sucked for a while?
What do you mean?
So, like, when they were setting up this... What was
Cheers.
cheers to you. What was this hypothetical league called?
Super League.
Okay.
They called it the Super League.
So, once the 12 teams were in there, there was no way that a new team could join and one could get
you're
dropped.
last in the Super League, you stay in the Super League, just like the NBA.
I think it's a little different than the NBA because in the NBA...
There's drafts and first round drafts, second round drafts.
Yep. And in the
There's that system.
In the NBA, the D League teams, or G League teams as they're now called, they used to be D League, they are not even remotely close to the worst NBA roster. They couldn't beat the worst NBA roster on a day where they all had cancer. No shot. Whereas in Europe, there is
I'm sorry to cut you off.
Yeah,
I'm
go
sorry
ahead.
to cut you off.
Go ahead.
It's because of the system.
But how's that wrong? Like, how's the NBA wrong about that then? Because
I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm not saying one system's wrong, one system's right. But I'm saying the D League teams are completely lousy and way worse than the NBA teams because there's no relegation. There's no, okay, you're in the NBA. You get $15 million just for entering the NBA. Or there's no advancement.
Yeah.
So the smaller teams will always stay poor. Always. The D-League teams will always be lousy and always be poor. And the NBA teams will always be rich and always be great. That's what they try to do with soccer. And that takes away the beauty of the sport. That's for me. I mean, I watch, how we grew up watching all sports. We talk about sports all the time. That's the thing about soccer that I really, really fell in love with. Is that there's always a hope for a poor team to get rich. And you see it. And you see it happening. Like in my short life of 27, 28 years old, I've seen clubs in England watching the Premier League, because it's the best soccer in the world, that, 10 years ago when we were chilling in high school, dude, they weren't even in the Premier League. They weren't even in the first league. And now they're in the Premier League and they're winning the league. And they're rich, like Leicester City. Leicester City, bro, was shit 15 years ago. They didn't have anything. And now everyone knows Leicester City. Even here in the States, where they don't even watch soccer.
When's the last time one of those types of teams won a Champions League altogether, though?
Won Champions League?
Better question. When's the last time one of the 12 proposed teams in that new league didn't win the Champions League?
The teams that they chose to be in this Super League,
it was like Real Madrid,
have always won Champions League.
Who was it? Real Madrid,
Real,
Barcelona,
United, Juventus, Barcelona.
What's the one in Germany?
Bayern.
Yep,
Bayern won it. Bayern wanted to get in it. Dortmund wanted to get in it. PSG. Think of like the richest, all the richest clubs, bro. It's like.
Did they come up with this overnight, though? Or was it
obviously,
like a long...
it got shut down in 2 days, bro. They talked about it in the hair salons, and that was it.
Had they been planning it, though, like for a while?
It was planned, yeah, but it got shut down real fast. You want to know why it got shut down?
Why did it get shut down?
Because Champions League said, okay, you want to join the Super League? You want to be in the Super League? You're not allowed to compete and play in the World Cup for your nation. You can't represent your country.
Wait, how can they say that?
Because Champions League has some pool. It's been...
What do you mean they have some pool? That's like a...
Champions League. It's the ultimate trophy in soccer. It's bigger than the World Cup.
I remember. You used to make me watch that. It's actually always
bigger than the World Cup. So they're like, okay, you want to join this league that goes against the Champions League and not participate in Champions League? Okay, fine. But you're going to be disallowed to compete for your nation. You won't be able to play for France, Mbappe. You won't be able to, Neymar, you won't be able to play for Brazil. You won't be allowed to play for the World Cup. So the players were like, all right,
they were like, fuck this,
fuck it, I'm out. So, it got stopped right away. But that's the beauty of soccer, man. That's the beauty. There's hope. It gives small clubs like my club in Greece hope to be able to play one day against Barcelona. It can happen.
That's pretty cool.
Whereas a team in the D League, say you're a fanatic. I don't even know a team in the D League,
but
say you're a
fan of them.
But say you were. Well, you're not, because there's no shot you'd play against the Lakers. But if there was a shot you'd play against the Lakers, you may be a fan.
The difference is, though, a Leicester City can happen because the games are different. Basketball and soccer are very different games.
In Europe, it happens. In Europe, in basketball, it happens.
But it's also so spread out.
Dude, Barcelona could not be in the first division if they lose all the time. They get dropped.
First of all,
and then we wouldn't know who Paul Gasol was.
The upper echelon of talent, like the highest echelon, obviously, is very good. Once you get below the highest echelon, the talent is very broad. Like, it's not... In the NBA, the 7th and 8th man on a decent, okay playoff team, first or second round exit team, is going to be a fucking monster in European leagues. Period.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah.
So there is a distribution. Like, NBA, think of it like the talent level is up at... And if you're listening and not watching, I'm holding my hands up in like a pyramid above me. It's up here at the top of the pyramid, and then you kind of have like Europe, where overall the talent is towards the middle of the pyramid. So it's easier for things to come back to average, right? It's easier for like this team to suddenly like be struck by a bolt of lightning and figure it out and have a magical season or a magical run. And I don't mean to overgeneralize, but like in the NBA, the NBA and the D League, look, nothing's impossible. That's not going to happen, though. The rosters, the D League rosters, European teams could, or G League, they used to call it the D League. I'm so used to the D League. But the G League rosters, decent European teams could beat those teams.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen in a 7-game series in the NBA. Not going to happen. And that's the other thing. In soccer, they play a lot of one. If I'm understanding correctly, they don't play series in this. It's a one-gamer. It's just like football. Like football,
the finals are one game. The finals are one game.
Yes.
But the knockout stages are 2. One home, one away. And soccer, going back to soccer, the other beautiful thing about soccer.
It's goal differential?
As the only sport where...
Wait, question.
Yeah, it's goal differential. And it's the only sport where that occurs. Where a goal away counts more.
Wait, what?
An away goal in soccer counts more than a home goal. I told you this before.
I did not know this.
Yeah, bro.
What?
Yeah.
So if I score, what is it, like 1.25?
If we play one game home and one game away, and both scores at the end of both games are tied, whoever has more away goals wins. Does that make sense?
Yes. I'm processing. What if no one has more away goals? Then it's just...
What do you mean if no one has more away goals? If they're the same, you're saying?
Yeah.
Then it goes overtime, penalty kicks, and stuff like that. But it's the only sport, bro, where an away goal literally counts more.
Yeah, that's complex.
For the goal the aggregate. When the aggregates are tied, you look at the away goals. Whoever has more away goals advances.
That's stupid.
Why?
That's really stupid.
No, bro. No. That's the beauty.
That's stupid.
That's the beauty of support. That's why the soccer fans are fucking ballistic, man. It's because it literally counts. It counts.
They could never do that in America.
Dude, it counts, man.
So wait, if Greece has been shut down with COVID this year, they haven't been burning shit down.
For soccer?
Yeah.
They burn it down.
They still burn shit down?
BAUK, my team from Greece, won the Greek Cup 3 weeks ago.
Had they been playing in front of empty stadiums?
Out. Yeah. When they won, though, everyone went to the White Tower, the Lefko Pirgo. Yeah. Everyone went. Thousands and thousands of people went. Flares everywhere. No masks, no nothing.
Did they have to text the government?
No.
They just went.
Listen, when 10,000 people go, they don't have enough cops to find them.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, why didn't people just do that?
It's because it wasn't worth it. But for soccer, it's worth it.
For soccer, it's worth it.
Of course.
Oh, my God.
Of course.
I wish people could go see that and, like, see that culture. I've seen it.
You've seen it.
Bro.
You've seen it. You felt it.
It's real.
It's real, man.
It's very real.
You know why it's real? To the extent that it is, it's because there's hope. There's hope for one day for BAUK, who has a $10 million budget, to play against Barcelona, who has a $450 million budget. There's hope.
That's cool.
It's a possibility. It's a possibility.
So net effect is it's a great thing that they shut down this Super League.
Excellent thing. Excellent thing for me and my club, and for the game.
And people were freaking.
And
but
for
like
the game.
Even in England, like with some of the great teams that were being left out. Like what was Arsenal left out of that? Yeah, like they were flipping out.
Few in England, because a lot of the teams in England that are good right now came from the bottom.
Yeah,
they came from nothing.
Yeah,
a lot. Arsenal, 9th place. Liverpool, 6th place. And then you have Leicester 2nd. And you're like, who the fuck's Leicester?
You know what?
I mean, 10 years ago, no one... I mean, I follow soccer all the time. But that's the beauty of soccer, man. And then 3-4 years ago, you see the Sixers, man. They're losing games on purpose so that they can get a good draft pick. And you're like, what the fuck, man? If you're a true Sixers fan... You're like bashing your head against... You're like, I don't care about the draft pick. I want you to win a game.
No.
Well, for me,
this is a true story. You're not gonna believe this shit. This is a true story. When the Sixers lost their 26th game in a row in the 2013-2014 season, it was, I believe, like the beginning of March 2014. You were in America, and I was in a hotel room with my girlfriend in Thessaloniki, watching it on Greek TV, saying like on the TV, the Rebels balls. Like I didn't know what the fuck they were saying, but I was like, did they lose? And I'm like, oh my God, they lost. My girlfriend's like, what do you mean? Like, why are you happy? I'm like, they gosh, we're good. They just set the record. We're gonna get a high draft pick. Like,
Oh my God.
dude, I was excited about that because
Fuck
we were
that, dude.
motivated to lose that year. Because listen,
Fuck
you
that.
have to have talent to be able to contend. Period. It's not. Look, it's
I'm
not.
a sore loser, man, and I'm not gonna root to lose. Never.
It's not.
It's
look,
rooting to lose.
when you're I will say this. And notice, I said I was watching the highlights. Whenever I watch the games, I can't do that. I can't root to lose. Period. Like you can't. Like when
Well,
you're.
yeah.
But that's the thing. That was the first season, I think, of my life where I would purposely skip watching games because I'm like, I do know. I remember, dude. You remember we beat like the Heat the first game of that season,
Yeah.
and we're like, bro, dude. We thought we were going to the title. We're like, oh my God, this is not a tank season. Michael Carter-Williams, this is second Magic Johnson. I was running around blackout in the basement with fucking Spear and Dylan screaming, we beat the Heat. They won like 3 in a row, and then they were horrible the whole year. And it was like, if that hadn't happened, we wouldn't be enjoying what we're enjoying right now.
Yeah,
That's true.
it's true because of the system and because of the way it is.
But in Europe, it's not like the draft. They have to go sign players, and you're talking about, like, you used an example a few minutes ago where you're like, Real Madrid pays their players $450 million a year. We pay whatever we pay them.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that system's not equitable in that way. So yes,
It is. It is.
How's it
It just
equitable?
takes more time.
Wait, how does that make sense?
When Pauk, for example, who sucks, right? When they enter into a big tournament,
So you admit it?
yeah, of course,
Okay.
of course,
Okay.
of course, I admit it.
We got that. We got that. Okay.
But I love them dearly, and I support them to the fullest. And why I continue, even though they suck, is because there's hope. For example, if PAOK wins first place in the Premier or in the Greek League, they win first place, they have a chance to enter Champions League. They have a chance. So they have to play like 2 or 3 teams in order to qualify. If they beat 2 or 3 of those teams, just for entering into Champions League, or they always participate in Europa League because they never can get into Champions League. But just for entering into Champions League, you get money. You get money.
Wait, how much money do you get?
You get it. Ballpark between 10 to 15 million euros just for entering into the tournament. And then if you win, you get 2 million. If you win a game, you get 2 million. If you get a tie, you get half a million. If you lose, you get nothing. And you play into there's rounds of 32, right? There's 4 clubs.
So they get a revenue share.
There's 4 clubs in the round of 32.
Yeah.
The top 2 teams, after playing against each other with points, a win is 3 points, a tie is 1 point, a loss is 0 points. At the end, the top 2 advance. You get money.
You're saying they're each in 4-team leagues.
So you
like
have
there's
groups
8
of 4 teams.
Yeah, okay.
You have
Like the
groups
World Cup.
Like the World Cup.
Yeah.
And then guess what? When you advance into the round of 16, you get more. You get another 10 million just for advancing. Now you play again, you win, you blah, 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 blah. You advance again into the Elite 8, another 15 million. So you collect juice. You sign a big player. You sign a well-known good player. He comes to your team. You win, boop, you keep on. That's how it happens. It takes a little bit more time than like the NBA, where you sign a magician.
Most people don't do that.
And you sign a huge player.
Most teams
whereas
don't,
in
though.
soccer, the way you improve, the way you create your talented team, it's a little bit more in stages. It's not so instant. Oh, number 1 draft pick. Okay, you get the stud from Duke. Number 1 draft. Boom. Makes your team better. It's not like that. It's more in stages. And that's how you create a team. And it's important. In soccer, it's 11 players. It's not 5. You have a whole squad. So it does happen, but not at the speed as it does in the NBA.
How many teams are in across the country? So Britain, Italy, France, Germany, Portugal.
How many go to Champions League?
No, how many teams are in the top leagues in each of those respective countries?
Between 20 to 25 teams.
Total?
Total.
No, not in Champions League. I mean, like
in the leagues, in the first of leagues,
in each league.
Yeah,
in each league.
Yeah,
not 25 total across
20.
Right. So it's like
20 teams.
So call it across the major countries. Call it 150 teams. Right.
Yeah, but be careful. England, for example, England
2 leagues.
No. England is the Premier League, right?
Yes.
That's England's soccer league. It's the best soccer league in the world, right?
Yeah.
The top 4 teams in England in the Premier League automatically go to Champions League. Automatically. Yes. They don't have to play qualifiers.
Yeah, what
so
I'm
they
saying
automatically
is,
go.
So how many teams are in the Premier League? 20?
20.
Okay.
Let's say 20.
So that's Britain. Then you have Germany. You have Italy.
Yeah.
You have Greece.
Yeah.
You have Spain. You have all the ones I just listed.
Yeah.
So put all the main countries together.
A lot of the top teams from those countries don't go to Champions League.
I'm not there yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm not there yet.
Okay.
The point is, let's call it 150, 200 teams, like legit teams with a prayer.
Yeah.
With a prayer.
Yeah.
Across Europe. How many teams total go to Champions League?
32?
Right. Okay. So it's the 32 where it's like 8 leagues and 4. I think you said that, right?
32.
So each of these leagues, think about the percentage, like how many things have to go right for you to do that. Like you have one Champions League every year. If you live 100 years, you live through 100 Champions League, you probably don't remember the first 5 or the last 5. So you live through 90, right? There's 200 fucking teams in Europe. Let's say that there's the 12 powerful ones, and there's more than that. I don't know why they kept it to 12, because like teams like Arsenal aren't getting in, whatever. Let's say there's 30 powerful ones, deep pockets, big country, or big cities, Paris, Rome, wherever, right? London, all these teams. They're always going to be there. More often than not, one of those teams is going to win the Champions League. So let's say out of every 4 years, I'm just doing a hypothetical, out of every 4 years, 3 of them, one of those main 30, win the title. That leaves we'll go, instead of 90, we'll keep it to 100 years, like you remember all of them. That leaves in your 100-year life, that leaves 25 years throughout there, that 170 teams are fighting to try to win the Champions League. So the chances of you seeing your Little Sisters of the Poor team actually win it are next to nothing. They're very, very low.
Exactly.
So it's still not, to me, it's not equitable because like they don't have a, first of all, there's too many teams because it's a big continent. It's not a country, it's a continent, right? And you have all these densely populated areas, all this talent, incredible talent. But you don't have a draft. You have a lot of teams. And you have teams that have big pockets that more often than not are going to be able to use it to buy the best players. It's you know, it's in sports, it's the capitalist system that way. So like I still don't get, like to me, we have it very good in the NBA.
Yes.
Where guess what? It's only 30
Yes.
teams.
Yes.
And I'm just using, there's other leagues too I could point to, MLB, good example, whatever. But NFL, but there's only 30 teams and there's a set draft system. And you know what? You can have a team like in the NFL. You can have a team like the Chiefs come out of nowhere and draft Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
You know, that can't happen in Europe. Or it's very hard to.
No, it can't happen in Europe. But like, just imagine the Sixers play once a week. Say they only play on Sunday, right?
Okay.
Sixers only play either Saturday morning, Sunday night, one game a week. And where am I trying to go with this?
I don't know where.
I was trying to go somewhere with this. Got it. So
got it.
They only play once a week. And say there's a relegation thing, like in soccer.
Meaning a team gets kicked out of a league
Meaning
and goes down
you
to a
don't do
lower
well.
one.
You don't do well. You get relegated. You go to the D League or whatever it's called. Is it the D League? I heard you correct yourself.
It's the G
That's why.
League, but
G
it
League,
was,
whatever.
It was, I don't know why they
Say you
changed
go to the G League. You don't do well. And you only play once a week. Imagine what the support would be like in the Wells Fargo Center. It'd be a lot better.
Oh, if you were out of the G League and up in the NBA. Of course, yeah.
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 And you only played once a week.
Yeah, but like, so let's...
You would never want the Sixers to lose, ever.
Well, let's go to the NFL
Ever.
because we do have that once a week.
Sure.
And there's no...
But you stay in the NFL.
That's what I'm saying. Well, there are arena leagues and shit like that. There's another... Well, the XFL came back, but that... I think The Rock actually bought that, so it's coming back again. But it's not... You know what I mean? It's not like... The G League is... The teams are owned entities of the NBA teams. Mm-hmm. You know? Which is the other thing. All the NBA teams own a team in the G League. So it's not like they're getting... You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like tied to it. But... I don't know where you were going with that.
Like you said, when you came to Greece and you saw how it was with the soccer and with the graffiti and the fans and the amount of effect it had on like the cultural day to day. It's because of all these things that I'm talking about. They only play once a week. If they lose, they get relegated. They're fighting to play against the big clubs. They've never entered Champions League.
The unknown,
the hope and the power that hope has. That holy fucking shit. Like one day we might be able to get into Champions League. We never want them to lose. That's it. Win. And let's support to the fullest because guess what? An away goal counts more. So when there's an away game, my friends, bro, in Greece, they take boats. They don't have money to pay for a train. They don't have money to go on flights. They don't have the money. So they go on ferries for days. 2-day ferries.
To where?
To go see PAOK play against an Italian club. Or to see PAOK play against a Turkish club. Or to see PAOK play, a Scandinavian club. They take ferries and trains for days to support their club. Because guess what? If we land or if we play a really good team from Spain or from Sweden who isn't Barcelona, who say like Villarreal, who isn't like creme de la creme in Spain, and we're playing against Europa League and, we play against them and we score an away goal, it's like, holy fucking shit. We can tie home and win. Or they could score, we score two goals away and they score one home. We can advance off away goals.
Bro, this is why I love sports, period. There is something about it. Like what you're pointing out right now makes my blood go. And I mean that in all the best ways because everyone can kind of forget what's going on around them in life, what they're pissed off about, what's bad and or even like the good things too. Like, I mean everything. The whole world kind of drowns out and all the things that come with it for just maybe 3 hours a week in soccer or something like that. And you lose your fucking mind over something that a guy who sits 10 rows down who you've never met in your life has the same emotion to and feeling for that you do. There's, as far as I can tell, there's nothing like that in the world. Mm-hmm. Some people now will be like, yo, politics is like that. Fuck that, dude. I'm talking about, this is not where it's like, two team fans can hate each other, but at the end of the day, they're all celebrating the same thing. There's no celebration. When somebody loses in politics, they think the world's over, right? Not to say you don't think that in sports, but it's kind of like fleeting. It's still like, oh, this is what we do. This is what we come for. This is the vibe and the emotion we're all about. And I think that more than ever, there are just certain things we can't take for granted after COVID. And for me, like sports is one of those things. Because I couldn't watch it during COVID. I really couldn't. I had, when the Sixers were playing in the bubble, and you and I have been diehard fans.
I'm sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
Did they win today?
Actually, that's a great question because we started recording when they were playing.
It was like in the third quarter.
So I haven't checked it. But I'll check that in a minute just to check. And we got to see about Embiid here and what that whole thing is. But anyway, there is something crazy about the fact that, a diehard fan like me or somebody like you, last year, I know they were kind of flaming out, but when they had that bubble, bro, there's 3 screens here. I had them up in the background on mute. I couldn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like not their fault. They're playing in a gym.
Yeah.
They're playing in Riverwinds, basically, right? That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm supposed to take this seriously? I was relieved. I don't like watching them lose, but I was relieved after it was done because I'm like, all right, at least we didn't win a championship in this fucking whatever. And Brett Brown got fired. Side note. But like now you're starting to see like fans pile stadiums again. It's a beautiful thing.
Fans are the beauty of the sport.
Yes.
And in soccer, it is at an extreme elite level. If you haven't watched Green Street Hooligans, you must watch it.
You and me watched that once, but we were like fucked up. And I have no I just remember like Frodo Baggins was like pissed off the whole time.
Yes. Elijah Woods is in
What's that movie about though?
Hooligans.
That does nothing for me.
What do you mean? It's about hooligans in England. Soccer hooligans.
Okay.
It gives you an idea of like the cultural thing that I was talking about. Of how much an effect it can have on a society.
Yeah. I mean, you look.
West Ham. Bro, West Ham.
What's West Ham?
West Ham United.
Oh, yeah, the team.
The team in the movie. Bro.
I don't remember the movie.
That squad was absolute shit for like 30 years.
They were shite.
And it had a great year, and it got into the Premier League, and it made it. When you enter into the Premier League, you get money. Like I said, they give you money, and it got like 2 great players, bro. And now it's still in the Premier League. Since then, and they have.
Oh, you're talking about in real life?
In real life.
Okay, got it.
In real life.
What was the other one we always watched with the fucking kid who was like, who made the team?
Goal.
Yeah, that's it. That's
a little
cheesy.
bit more fictional.
That was so cheesy.
That's more fictional.
But yeah, that was like. But that's the thing. You could just pick up someone off the street.
Anyway, that's why, dude. At the Cage, at the cocktail bar, I didn't know what to name the drinks. I was like, what am I gonna name the drinks? And I was like, I gotta name them after soccer terms. So I named all the drinks after soccer terms, and it has like its own theme. Every drink somehow is related to a soccer term. And I have paragraphs that no one reads. They just look at the pictures. But I like writing the paragraphs. Because everyone's like, oh my God, I want this. I'm like, all right, yeah.
I read the paragraphs.
The paragraphs. Like today I'm changing the catalog. And today I was working on introducing 4 new cocktails. I'm taking off 4. I'm adding 4. And I was writing the paragraphs. Today I was doing that. VAR aviation.
How do you decide what to take off the menu?
Sales.
Just purely the numbers on it.
Dude, I'm in business. If it doesn't sell, it's got to go. Like,
but
what the hell?
The reason I asked that, I mean, that's a really obvious answer. The reason I asked that, though, is because, like, you make all these high-end cocktails. So there's got to be people trying everything just because there's, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
whatever
it's harder
sells the
to
least.
tell. Like, can you know that something's a failure on that type of menu after like 4 months?
It's been 2 years though.
Oh, so you haven't changed anything?
I haven't changed anything in 2 years on the catalog, but I've introduced a lot of creative cocktails that people consistently keep on ordering, and that's how I get a feel.
Got it.
That's how I get a feel. I'm like, oh my God, like it's not on the menu. It's a creative cocktail that we did like last week. They keep on ordering it. I'm gonna put it on the catalog now.
I take back that question because I was thinking like that was something you were doing regularly, and I'm like,
no.
How would you do like after 90, 120 days? How do you really, you know what I mean? Like that's harder when to look at numbers.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you named them all after soccer terms.
Period. So today I'm introducing. I decided four cocktails that we used as like creative cocktails to get feedback, and that we're gonna put on the catalog. So we have VAR Aviation. Aviation is a classic cocktail. It's like 140 years old, but I named it VAR Aviation.
What's VAR?
VAR, Virtual Assistant Referee.
What the fuck
is that? In soccer, you've never heard of VAR?
Is that like the film? Like the tape review?
Like, you know how in the NFL you can challenge and they go in the booth and they see?
Yeah.
In soccer, they're doing that now at an elite level.
Thank God.
You can look at...
You named a drink after a fictional referee, though?
No, and it happens. In reality, it happens.
I know.
Today I know, it happens.
But still,
VAR.
You don't see drinks named like the... Here's the official review gin and tonic.
Dude,
I don't know about that one.
It's named after... It's like a challenge.
Is anyone at your bar here in America?
Yeah.
America.
Yes.
They gonna know what that is?
Yes.
They're gonna know what that is.
No,
No,
but they will
they're
ask.
not.
They will ask, and I will tell them, and it adds more hype to the theme, bro. You have to have a theme.
Agreed, dude. I think you
have to
I'm
have
hating
a
on that
theme.
name. But
And
give me the next ones. Give me the next.
So yeah, VAR Aviation. This isn't even on the menu yet. This is like a sneak peek.
Oh
to the
my
menu,
God, are we
which is
getting an
pretty cool.
exclusive in here?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Holy shit.
So yeah, VAR Aviation. You have this one is for West Ham, for the Green Street Hooligans. Forever Blowing Bubbles.
What the fuck does that
Forever Blowing Bubbles is the main chant of West Ham United in England. Their chant.
mean? Yo, if your team chant is forever blowing bubbles, you're never gonna win a fucking game.
Listen, man.
I'm saying that right now.
Listen, man. I bought a fucking bubble gun for this fucking cocktail. It creates a bubble on the surface of the cocktail and it blows up.
All right. Don't even go to the next two names. We need to talk about this. Because, like, people
I'm
are...
not messing around with my cocktails.
No.
You know I'm not.
That's where we're going right now.
You know I'm not messing around.
I need to steer the conversation
I don't know
there
if you've
right
ever seen
now.
a bubble gun on a cocktail before,
I have
but you're
never
gonna
seen
fucking
that.
see it.
That sounds like a violation of the drink, but you'll probably make it look great.
It's not a violation.
When you're talking about the cocktails that you concoct here, like people are listening, like, okay, cute, you got some drinks. What you did to set up this bar was straight out of the playbook that I've grown up around, so I'm used to it. But this is what you Greeks, what you guys do, and it's fucking genius, and it's wild, though, when you think about it. You went and found two professional mixologists who travel around Greece. I don't know where they're probably like a long lost
they
cousin.
compete
'cause
in Europe.
everyone's a fucking cousin in Greece.
Yeah.
But you found these people, you brought them over here for 6 months, and you didn't just have them like train your staff as you opened up the restaurant or opened up the bar and get them used to it. You also had them move in with you and set up a bar in your house around the clock. I remember coming back like fucked up from the bar after like we would all come back to your place, and there's like professionals in there at like 3 a.m. like, sir, would you like a whatever the fuck or a whatever the fuck? And I'm like, I don't know, like anything. If it's got liquor, I'm good. And they're like fucking torching it, like my friend John Rondy's dad, Johnny Drinks, does. Shout out Johnny Drinks, with the goddamn thing like on the where they put it on the wood and then hold the glass over it and smoking the glass, all that stuff. They were doing the whole like where they throw the liquid up in the air and catch it somehow on the other side. And I'm like, what the fuck are we doing here? And you're like, bro, I'm opening up a bar. We're doing this right. Wild.
Yeah. I've always been blown away in Europe just from like living in Spain and traveling out throughout Europe of how easy and effortless it was to have a good drink. You'd go to like a corner cafe, a corner bakery, you ask for a margarita or a mojito, and it's a fucking good drink.
Yeah.
And then you come here and you go to like these huge metropolitan cities, bro. It's like 4 or 5 million people. And it's only like a handful of like spots where you can get a good drink. You like really have to look for it. And when our newest restaurant up in Warrington, it was a Bertucci's that filed bankruptcy, it closed, and had a bar. I was like, Dad, like, if we're gonna have a bar, like, we gotta do it right. We gotta do it like in Greece or in Europe. Like when we travel, you go anywhere in Europe.
You were obsessive about it.
And yeah, I'm like, there's so many awesome beer gardens and wineries, but to find like a good cocktail, you have to search for it. And I was like, we gotta go with the cocktail theme. And my dad was giving me a bunch of heat. He's like, oh, no, like in America, it's all beer and wine. Cocktails isn't a thing. They won't appreciate it. I'm like, dude, no, we're doing the cocktail thing. And I sponsored mixologists from Europe. I brought them over. They showed me the ropes. They opened the bar. They did the layout. And a lot of the cocktails that are on the catalog right now are their homemade recipes that they've won competitions with in Europe. And now we sell more cocktails than beer and wine combined every day.
What makes a great cocktail? Like, how do you, because there's like the famous ones, like I can order an old fashioned and stuff like that. But what makes like, your old fashioned different, or what makes an entirely new drink that no one's ever had that like actually makes it good? Because at the end of the day, not to be a cynic, I like anything that's wet that has alcohol in it, but it's all alcohol, right? Like it's just you're adding some things to it to mask the taste of the alcohol.
All right. So when it comes to the craft, of making a drink, you have to combine what the guest wants and the environment. It's all about what's right at that specific time. There isn't a perfect drink. Like when people ask me like what's my favorite cocktail, it fucking depends. It depends on what kind of mood I'm in. It depends on like who I'm with. It depends on what time it is. You know what I mean? It depends on a lot of things. So there isn't like a favorite cocktail. That's why it's like I've always loved serving people. It's always been like, my house parties, bro, when we were in high school. Yeah. In my basement, I loved having parties. My parties, I think, were fucking awesome. Everyone loved coming to my house for parties.
It was the Greek consulate.
It's because I've always had a passion for making somebody feel like they're having a great time and making them say, wow, like, this is fucking awesome. I've always had it always, like, it fulfilled me, you know what I mean? It fills me up. It makes me feel good. So when it comes to you ask me, what's the perfect cocktail? What's the best cocktail?
How do you make, I guess, like, more clearly.
It depends.
Like, how do you make one from scratch that it's like, yo, this is decadent?
It depends, bro. It depends on your tastes. Not everyone's tastes are the same. I can have a cocktail and it'd be fucking awesome for me, and then you try and it's like, it sucks, and spit it out and say, give me my money back.
You've never given me one, though, that I don't like.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not everyone enjoys it. Yeah. Like, I don't like spicy food. If you cook up an amazing spicy meal, I won't like it. I don't like spicy.
So you give the options across
it depends on the tastes. It depends on the flavor. That's why I always ask people, I'm like, what's your favorite alcohol? You know what I mean? What do you enjoy drinking?
I think you make a really good point, though.
It depends.
About I'll call it a problem. The problem with the lack of quality on cocktails in this country. It is true. You go, especially in New York, right? When I go to New York, I expect great fucking drinks. Because I'm paying, well, now with inflation, I'm probably paying fucking $30 a pop at this point. But pre-COVID, when I was in New York City all the time, yeah, I'm paying $20 for a good drink. But the thing is, very often, besides like great places like the Skylark, shout out to those people, they're fucking awesome there. But you have some places that do it right. But a lot of places, like very high end, everything costs a lot, and it's hard to get in there. They're giving you a fucking glass with liquid, too much ice, and one lime stuck on the top. And I'm just like, what went wrong in our culture where the expectation is like speed and just the ambiance, but not the things that come with it, right? Versus the actual attention to detail and the appreciation for like the Anthony Bourdain like decadence to life. You know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say there?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're trying to say.
I don't know why it's not like that here.
I think I know why. There's no trends.
What do you mean?
There's no fashion trends. There's no
what?
Cocktails. In the world of cocktails, it's a very trendy thing. For example, mezcal tequila wasn't in. Now it's in. So a lot of mixologists and a lot of cocktails are now with mezcal spray. They spray things with mezcal. They garnish things with mezcal. They use only aged tequila. Before, they never used aged tequila. Now they use aged tequila. It's more expensive.
What's the difference? Like, what's the difference in the taste?
It's a little bit more potent. The color's different because it gets the color from the barrel. So it's not like that clear tequila. It's more of like a brownish color. But in Europe, there's trends. And cocktail making world, it's very trendy. It changes a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very trendy. It moves fast. There's new cocktails all the time. Just like in fashion, bro.
That's what I'm saying, because we do have like significant.
We don't have a fashion trend in the States.
What?
We don't.
What do you mean?
Like, I remember like going to Greece in the summers, bro, and my cousins would make fun of me. They're like, why are you wearing a blue shirt? Blue was the color of fashion last year. Last summer.
It's different in different places. It's different in different places.
But that exists.
It's a different trend.
Exactly.
They have different trends than we do.
Exactly.
That doesn't mean we don't have trends.
We don't have fashion trends.
No. That's what I'm talking about. We do. We have different trends. Like, they dress differently in Europe. They dress differently in Asia. They dress differently in South America.
Yeah, but you're not going to go somewhere here and then be like, dude, that was in style last year. You wear what you're comfortable wearing.
I don't agree. I think in this country we have significant, like, over the top, like, beyond what I think is acceptable, but, you know, who the fuck cares what I think, trends that, you know, people, like, there's a big thing where people are using fashion to seek, like, attention, you know, through, like, insecurities. It's not about, does this look good? They want to make you believe that it looks good because they posted a nice Instagram about it and they did something different than you did. It's like that old nonconformist thing or whatever. But I don't think, like, I always knew, or had some idea, I should say, of, like, the trends in Europe, because you'd bring them back here. You'd be wearing fucking Armani this when we were 12 years old. I'm like, who the fuck is Armani, right? Like, you had a different...
I wasn't wearing Armani, man. I was wearing fisherman pants. All right.
No, you weren't. You were wearing fucking Armani. Dude, I remember, because then my mom's like, oh, why don't you get Armani like Niko? I'm like, Mom, I'm not trying to dress like I'm going to a fucking Greek dance. Like, this is not, like, it's acceptable for him to do it. If I walk in and do that, someone's punching me in the face. You know, like, you had those trends that you bring over, but it's not like everyone then did that. You didn't see all our boys, like, wearing that. You know what I mean? Like, there were different things here. Whereas you look at how people dressed, even, like, think about how people dressed when we were, like, young, like 2007, like, young. Then think about how they dressed in, like, 2012.
Dude,
way different.
Yeah, you're right. There are trends. It's just not, it doesn't have as much as an impact as it does over there.
What do you mean?
Like here when we were growing up, there was the G Unit. What did G Unit have in their clothing?
They had sneakers.
No, they had a brand. G Unit had a
G Unit. I'm gonna pull it up.
Yeah,
keep talking.
No, they had a brand. They had like a clothing brand, and like everyone wanted to get like the G Unit brand of clothing.
G Unit brands. Yeah, that's what it was called. Right there. I don't. Actually, I do. I remember the sneakers.
You know
more
what I
than
mean?
Anything.
Yeah, the sneakers.
Yeah, but
then you had like all these brands.
And
then Iverson had his brands.
Yeah, what's your point? That these brands don't count
My point
because
is,
they were
like,
different than Europe?
In Greece, if you weren't wearing G Unit when G Unit was in, there'd be like, what the fuck, bro? Like, why aren't you wearing G Unit? It's more, you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's more of a cultural pressure.
Yeah,
on having.
They're like, why are you wearing G Unit now? Like, G Unit was popular last year. Don't wear G Unit now.
That's okay. Actually, now I agree with you.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes, I think you said it. I won't say wrong, but you said it like a little bit unclearly.
Yeah.
There is more of an ability in this country to say fuck the trends and do what you want to do, rather than have to get it like the cultural conformity.
The image is very important over there. Here it's not so important. They're like, fuck it, I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to do what makes me comfortable. But in Europe, the image is so important.
I think I was on the phone with Niko Karolidis the other day, and I think that's what I'm just thinking about something you were saying. I think that's what he was trying to get across because he's doing a lot of business.
Yeah.
To sell Nikki.
Image is important, man.
Yeah.
Image is important. Especially, it's even more important now with everything being like on Instagram and all these influencers and stuff. But going back to what you said about the cocktails.
Yeah, go back.
That's where I think That's what I think makes like the major difference is the effect and the impact of trends.
And you say that we don't have as much of that in this country for cocktails.
Not as...
I agree.
It's not pressure.
I agree
Like, we
with
don't
that.
pull our
Yes.
nails out for that. In
100%.
Europe, they do. They're like, why are you wearing that? That's not in style now. What are you doing? You're not allowed to sit at the bar. I mean, it's like that, bro.
This is actually a really good way to have a conversation around that culture, though. Like, I know we're just talking about cocktails with that, but one of the life-changing experiences I had, like I studied in Italy and lived in Rome, and so that did a lot for me. But before I did that, when I went over there with you finally for like 3 weeks and just lived in the culture in Greece, and like this was, I mean, shit, man. The thing about Thessaloniki and then Halkidiki especially is that there's no Americans there. None, period. It's like, and Halkidiki, I mean, tell people about Halkidiki, like what that's like. I mean, it's unbelievable. We'll get to it, but tell people what it is.
Halkidiki is a peninsula that is basically like an hour away from the second largest city in Greece, which is called Thessaloniki. So the capital is Athens, which is all the way south of Greece, and Thessaloniki is all the way north. And about like an hour drive, kind of like driving from like South Jersey to AC or the Borgata, it's about 45 minutes to an hour. There's a peninsula called Halkidiki, which kind of looks like this, literally looks like this. And
if you're listening right now, he's holding his 3 fingers straight down.
Yeah, and like Thessaloniki is like up here, and these 3 bodies of land are like a peninsula, and it's full of beach bars, full of clubs. The first foot is like the party island, or like the party foot, which is where we went.
Angels, Pearl,
all those awesome clubs that are epic. And then the second one is a little bit more relaxed for like families and whatnot. And then the third one is owned by the church, like the Vatican. You need a passport to go there. Women aren't allowed. It's very sacred, full of mosques, all owned by the church.
We definitely didn't go there.
We didn't go there. But the camping there is amazing, I've heard. But we didn't go there. We went to the party island because he didn't have much time. So that's Halkidiki. You told me to explain it.
Yeah, no, that was beautiful. That was a great setup here because, first of all, Halkidiki, and there was not one American there the entire time. This is not like people in this country. They say
they loved America.
They say Mykonos and everything. And Mykonos, never been there, but I know it's incredible. Like I've heard amazing things. I know it is, but like this is
not touristic,
bro.
It's where the locals go.
Yes, it's like our Jersey Shore.
Exactly,
but it's not. I love the Jersey Shore. No disrespect to Ocean City and Sea Isle and up in Belmar and all these great places.
Locals go.
Halkidiki is low key. Perhaps the most beautiful place I have ever been in my life. It's beautiful. Breathtaking. And the drive, like you talked, it's very similar. It's like living in New York City or in Philly and driving to the shore, North Jersey or South Jersey, like an hour, no traffic, that kind of deal, whatever, which there's always traffic. But that's like the drive from Thessaloniki to Halkidiki. And I just remember when we were doing that, we were hungover as fuck, and your dad was driving, so we're like all over the place. But that drive was like the back hills in Gladiator when he's like fucking walking through the wheat fields. And I'm like, Niko, this is like fucking Gladiator.
It's mountainous. Greece is mountainous, and even the peninsula is mountainous. So there's a lot of hills, ups and downs and turns.
But the thing,
magical.
The reason I was bringing this up is the things I learned about the culture while I was there were life changing for me, because this was. Shit, we were young. We were not drinking age. This is like 2013, I think.
Not drinking age here.
Yeah. Well, here. Exactly. So we were good over there.
Solid over there.
But this is like 2 years maybe after the Greek economy went like through the fucking floor after the global financial crisis. And then there was the hyperinflation problem. It cost like 20 euros for a coffee. And the country was and still is very largely poor. There's a lot of people on tough times there. And what struck me is that you wouldn't have known it. Now, if you went to Athens, you'd know it. right? Like there's places where there's constant demonstrations and stuff, but you go to other big places, Thessaloniki, and then especially you go to something like Halkidiki, people have such a different priority system there, and it's so much more native to the land. And that is a big compliment when I say that, in the sense that all people wanted was enough money to be able to sleep somewhere that had a roof, to be able to buy some decent, fresh, beautiful, decadent foods, to be able to have their afternoon coffee, which we'll talk about Greek coffee. It's a religious experience. No offense to Italy. Italy invented coffee. They did a great job. There's nothing like the Greek coffee experience. Greeks perfected it. And then they want to have enough money, finally, to be able to go out and feel like they're living a very big-time life at the clubs at night, where everything is more affordable, by the way, than it is here to do that. And the clubs are better than here. I'm not kidding about that. They're fucking insane. And I'm like, damn. Where it really hit me, actually? Remember that beach we would jump off the cliff?
Yeah.
What's that called?
Where we went cliff jumping?
Yeah, like me, Kebab, you, Akile, everybody.
Akile.
What's that called?
That was at the camping.
Yeah. What's that site called?
Pagliuri.
Yes, that's it.
The camping Pagliuri.
That's it. So we're at this place, and it's like this, as you were explaining Halkidiki, it's this long peninsula. So it's like this mountainous island, but it's not an island, like sticking out into the water. But it's that first finger is what, like 25 miles long? Something like that?
Yeah, 24. Yeah.
Yeah, it's long. And so, the middle is trees, and then the outsides is the beach. And this camp is located where there's a quiet, like, peninsula within the peninsula that comes in. And the water is, you hold your hand down and you can see it like it's clear as day. And then there's a cliff where you jump. But we're at this place. There's a beach bar where there's always a party. Fucking 6 o'clock, and everyone gets lit. There's parties, exactly, parties. And people serve you at your chair, and it's like a rock beach, which is kind of weird, but you get used to it.
Then it's sand.
Right. And yet, I look behind it, and I'm like, damn, where are all these people staying? And I look behind it, and I shit you not, there is a trailer park behind it. And it's not a trailer park like we know.
There's a stigma to trailer park here in America. It's not like that there.
But that's my point.
There's facilities.
That's my point.
There's RVs.
But there's
showers. There's bathrooms.
These things are
there's mini markets.
Yeah, the trailer parks have that here too. I'm saying these trailers were like a third of the size of what the average trailer is here. They were that's what I mean. So there's not the stigma socially, but that's still like and I asked you, I'll never forget that. I was like, yo, do these people just like live here? And you're like, no, a lot of them are from Thessaloniki. They live in very small houses there, but they get enough money together that they can take a trailer and park it here for the fucking summer. And to your point, there's no stigma around it. And it's just like, yo, this is enough right here. We got the beach bar. We have the most beautiful little place. We can
have your mini market.
Right.
You have your grill.
Yep.
You buy your produce. You cook your food. They go fishing a lot in the mornings. They catch their fish. They cook their fish.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's something to be said for that.
We catch octopus there. That's what I do with all my buddies. We catch octopus.
That's where I fell in love with octopus.
It's
fucking good.
We catch the octopus. We eat the octopus for lunch. That's how we do it.
There's something really incredible about that, though. There's this... I don't know. I think in this world where we get so automated with things and we have such complexity and all these problems, it's like... You think about the simple things and like the places where you just kind of feel at peace. Like people talk about going on vacation all the time. What is a vacation? It's a week or two where you forget things exist. You're drunk half the time and you come back home to whatever your reality is that you don't like. But like with this, it's a lifestyle. And even in the midst of an economic crisis, that's what it was.
Yeah.
These people were happy. They really were.
Yeah. They're happy with little.
Yeah.
They're happy with little.
It's the simple things, though. You know what I mean? They're like... I don't know how I can't do justice to it.
They don't have the image that we have of success. Like, when someone says, "Are you successful here?" Your mind automatically goes to like, all right, if he's successful, he has a big house, he has a nice car, but like more materialistic things, I would say. Yeah. Whereas you could be successful and live. I mean, what's success? You could live a very happy life, a very healthy and happy life without a big house and without a Ferrari and without a lot of real estate and a lot of passive income flowing in. You could be successful.
Such an interesting word.
You know what I mean? Like, what's success is it changes. What does success mean?
Here's a question.
Do you base success off of how many things you have and how rich you are? Because I have a lot of possessions, I'm successful. It's like, no. For some people, it's not like that. You know what I mean?
Here's a good question, though. Right on that. Like I just said a couple seconds ago, these people were happy.
Very happy,
like really,
bro.
and
very happy, full of laughter and love, bro.
Exactly.
And they're gonna live forever because of that.
And yet, why did so many of them? Because I stick out like a sore thumb. Obviously, like I'm not Greek.
It's because you're wearing a hat.
Malaka, you were wearing a fucking Magic Johnson jersey everywhere we went. You were trying to stick out too, but
no hat and glasses. You were wearing glasses.
You were wearing a hat and glasses. I had long hair at the time. But you were wearing a hat and glasses. Doubtful. I got fucking pictures. I'll pull up pictures of
doubtful.
It's not doubtful. That's what you were doing.
You were wearing a hat and glasses and basketball shorts. I told you, fucking 3/4. I told you, bathing suit 3/4.
Wait,
women's section.
What do you mean 3/4?
The fucking here briefs.
Oh yeah, where it cuts off
suits.
You know what? That was
you were white as snow, malaka.
So first of all, that was before because I had tan lines. I was a caddy, so I had bad tan. Remember, I was like black from here down almost.
And you didn't talk about your upper body.
Yeah,
your fucking upper body was like
my arms,
farmer's tan.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm like, bro, am I gonna get you into the beach bars?
That was before short shorts were in style. That was when, like in the NBA, for example, which every person at the bar is like, yo, Trailblazers, like Lakers, like all this stuff.
I wanted Magic Johnson shorts.
Bro, that's when they were wearing their fucking pants still down to here.
Magic Johnson shorts.
Yeah, well, that's, see, I don't go there. That's still, that's some ridiculous shit.
Talking about trends, there you go.
But still, a lot of these people, when they would come up to me, they still all wanted to come to America.
Yes.
Why is that?
Because America, it still is. It's a dream, bro, to come here. If you work hard, you can get whatever you want.
You get but now it comes back to what you were just saying about success. You get whatever you want because you have success because you get money. You equate it with that, right? And I think
that's what you think of here.
Yes. I think it's
fair.
And if people define it that way, it's 100% fair. Very fair. Very. But like if the definition's different there, why did they want to change the definition to come here?
Because maybe some people want something bigger, something better. Not everyone is content with just that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't doubt that.
America isn't for everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not for everybody. But the people that want more in life, that want something greater than the image that we talked about in Greece, come here. Because no matter what, without a degree, without a lot, you can get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's just, it never ceases to blow my mind how powerful that is.
What?
Like the allure of the American dream, even to this day.
American dream, exactly.
Even to this day. Like with all the shit we have going on here, I'm not just talking about like part of the dream.
Like you said, it's the best shit.
Yes.
It's the best shit, man. There's shit everywhere right now. It's the best shit.
Yeah, when I had Adam,
still the best.
When I had Adam in here, who's in Africa with the Peace Corps.
Drink?
Can you have another drink? Get it over here. When I had Adam in here, who was in the Peace Corps in Africa for 2 years, he talked about that. He lived in Guinea. People were happy about the simplest things. He said, not far off what I was just saying.
Should
right?
be happy about the simplest things.
Right, but they still all wanted to come They still all like, and he'd be like, "Yeah, you see, like Trump's president and everything, though. You sure about that?" And they're like, "Man, he'll be gone. We want to come." And dude, it was real. You know what I mean? And there's something about that makes me then like. Obviously, I'm critical of things, and I'll do that. Like, part of what I do is talking with people about issues and what the fuck is going on out there. But I do want to always take the opportunity to remind people that, like, yeah, we can romanticize and talk about some of the great things that we appreciate, like in places like Halkidiki and some things we see there that we wish we had here, you know, to always improve a system. But that's what it's for. Mm-hmm. We want to improve what we have. It's not about, like... The focus to me is so much on why everything sucks. And if I play a role in doing that sometimes because of how the issues we happen to talk about on here and how negative some of them are, I apologize. That's not what it is. You said it earlier. It's the greatest country in the world. I will die on that hill all day. And I think it is. But like you, like anyone else, you as well with me, like we want to see things that are improved. So when I find things that are curious, I'm going to be like, all right, that's kind of cool. Let's talk about that, you know? So I don't know. I think I need another drink too, but America to me is in a very, very interesting place because we are at a critical point in how we decide how insular we're going to be versus how focused on the rest of the world for the right reasons we're going to be. Mm-hmm. And I'll qualify that. When you look at republics over time, they fail because, and it's always some different reasons, but they start turning within and fighting each other. And that takes the eye off, you know, the upstart, right? You talked about the teams in the Champions League that can rise up, or in the different leagues in Europe that can rise up and catch someone out of nowhere. They can catch somebody out of nowhere because it's a human tendency, we get complacent, right? And I look at where we are right now and I see a lot of that complacency. Like, I don't want to yell at people who are pointing out things that are wrong, right? Like when people are pointing out, one of the ones we talk about a lot on here is like a lot of the race issues and like race issues with cops and stuff. I think people should point that out. I think we should improve those things. You know, sometimes I worry like I've been a little bit hard on cops on this show, but like, look, we want to make sure that the good cops have a chance to shine and you don't just hear about the goddamn bad cops because people are protecting them. I think that's fine to point that out. Where I draw the line is when people start trying to say things like, yo, capitalism is death, and the American system is a total failure, and everything here is bullshit. Fuck the patriarchy, and we're gonna have a new world order, and it's still socialism, and like all these ideas and shit. Where it's like, wait. So you want to strip away all the things that may certainly have flaws in them. Like capitalism, that system absolutely has flaws. You want to strip away all those things because of the flaws and not pay attention to the fact that you're stripping them away and replacing them with things that have not just flaws, fatal tendencies compared to what exists. It is very, very important that we take note of places around the world, like whether it be Greece or Africa or some of the places we talked about, where people who don't live here and at least see the basics of the system and the potential from the outside actually understand, based on their own experience, how fucking critically important that is.
Yeah. I agree. That's why I encourage people to travel. Traveling, bro.
Cheers, by the way.
Cheers, bro. Salud.
Salud. Gendan.
Traveling is probably the best thing that somebody can do. Of course, you know, if they have the time and, you know, they aren't too, of course, your priorities come first, your family, your job, your this, but like, if you have the luxury to go on like a 2-week vacation, go outside the country. Travel, man. Travel somewhere. Travel and put yourself in a different culture, in a different environment. See what it's like. There's nothing like traveling and putting yourself in a completely different environment than you're accustomed to. You learn so many things, whether it's cuisine, whether it's the way they party, the way they go out, the way they talk with each other. You'll see them having fun with nothing, and it'll make you scratch your head. You're like, oh, dude, look how happy they are, man. And it's been proven that the more you laugh, the happier you are, the longer you live. And look, they have nothing, and they're living for 120 years in the fucking Okinawa, Japan, eating rice and living on the hills with nothing, nobody, by themselves. And it's in Okinawa, bro, away from everything else. And they have the highest life expectancy with zip. They live 115 years old.
Oh, I've heard about that.
Yeah, bro. So, like, that's why, dude. It's so important to travel. It's so important. And outside of the States, it's so important.
I think that I also took some of that for granted myself, like not the traveling, which I ended up getting to do. Like I didn't do that when I was a kid very much at all. I didn't really do that until right before college when I went with my grandparents to a bunch of places after I graduated high school. But then spending time with you in Europe, living over there too. Also,
and you did Italy.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
That's
lived
huge,
over there,
bro. That you did that.
That's
awesome that you did that,
dude. And that's the thing.
That's the best thing, bro.
I ingrained myself in the culture there.
That's the best thing.
That's the
best thing, man.
I did not spend time
with the locals.
Oh yeah, well no. I mean, like
you were with the locals.
Yes, there were all like the American bars and whatever. I never went there. You know, like that's not what we did, and.
You learn a lot.
I got an appreciation for that, but I took it for granted because there was a lot of that growing up. I didn't stop to notice it. And I mean that because like I spent a lot of time around you, you know, and your house was the Greek, I said this earlier with some kind of joke, but literally it was the Greek consulate. Right? Like, there were no laws of America there. It was, no, we're good. That's Spiro's house. Nobody fucks with that place, right? And there was nothing bad going on there. But my point is, like, you know, forget how it looked and how it felt when you go in. You felt like you were walking into a European goddamn palace, the second house you had, like, when you were older. But, like, it was this environment of just people who had come here. And I mean hundreds of people coming through that house because it is stereotypes true. All Greeks fucking know each other. They're coming through that house and they're all first generation Americans. And almost all of them are very, very, very successful. And yet they're all dual citizens. They still spend a lot of time of the year in Greece, maybe 3-4 months, something like that. They kind of work their way back and forth. They don't forget their roots. And yet...
We hold our roots. That's the thing. We really do hold our roots. We do.
And that's the culture. That's my point.
It's the culture. Yeah, man.
Look,
it's a beautiful thing, bro. It's a beautiful thing to hold your roots. You look up to it, and it's something that it brings you pride. It brings you pride, and it brings you joy to say, you know, like, I came from here, and my grandma, who taught me everything I know about my culture, came from there with that. And it's like, dude, the way my grandma came and was raised and what she had to go through makes COVID look like a fucking joke, bro.
Yeah.
Seriously, man. Seriously. I'm not saying COVID is an awful thing. It really changed the world in many different ways. But so does war, bro.
Yes.
And my grandma lived through wars. Wars.
Your grandma was a great lady.
Wars.
She was a great lady.
And my grandma that passed, my Electra, and also my grandma who's still alive right now, like my dad's mom, bro, like she went through wars, bro.
I do think about that.
It's crazy, man.
Like, just think about any generation, though. Any older generation.
Here in the States, bro, we lived through wars, but we never saw it.
No.
It was always there. You know what I mean? We never saw and felt a war. Like my grandma, my Sofia, my dad's mom, saw wars. Not a war. Wars. 2 wars. Around her. You know what I mean? Like they got kicked out of modern day Turkey. They lived around the Black Sea. They got kicked out. They had to fucking go migrate to Greece with nothing. Many people died by traveling on ships with nothing, no food. They went to Greece. They said, "You're not Greek. You're from Turkey. We're not accepting you." They didn't know how to speak. They didn't know how to read. They only know how to speak Turkish. Dude, poor, hunger. I mean, we lived through wars, but we never felt a war.
No.
Because it wasn't on our turf. It wasn't ever on our turf. It was always over there. Like they did. They felt the wars. You know what I mean? That bomb, they felt it. We didn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But imagine if you were there. You would have felt that.
You know what's crazy about that?
It's nuts.
That's 1946.
Yeah.
That's 75 years ago.
Those were the testings, right?
Yeah, exactly. That was, I might get the pronunciation of this very wrong, but it was like Bektari something.
Yeah.
Out in the Pacific.
The nuclear bomb
And
testings.
if you're listening, we're looking at one of the pictures in my studio here. It was a test where after World War II, right at the end, the United States, I think, bought, I hope they at least bought it and didn't just fucking take it, but I think they bought a few islands in the Pacific to use to wipe them off the face of the earth to test bombs, and obviously successful tests there. And I look at that a lot, and it's not just that. Like, I think about the concept of time with this stuff a lot. Because, like, your grandma, my grandparents, they're old relative to us. But, like, in the context of world history, how old are they? Not old at all, right? Like, I was
80s,
born...
90 years old.
I was born 50 years after they freed Dachau and Auschwitz and Birkenau and all the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like how fucking crazy.
Recent.
Yes.
It's very recent.
Yes.
My grandma was hiding Jews in Greece at her house.
No.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yes, in Greece. Hiding them in the basement of my... Chorio is the village. Chorio is the word for village in Greek.
You never told me this.
Yeah. We have a house at the Chorio, and we have a house in the city. At my house in the Chorio, which is about 50 minutes away from the city and like farmland, it's like how Mullica Hill was 30 years ago, where there's nothing else. It was just all cornfields, right? Now it's ridiculous. I didn't even recognize how I came here. There's new stuff everywhere. Yeah. But my grandma was hiding Jews in the basement behind haystacks, hiding a family of 3. And the Nazis came to the house and said, "Are you hiding Jews?" And my grandma said, "No."
How old was she?
I would be wrong if I answered you.
Not 5.
No.
She was like 15, 20, something like that.
She was old enough to talk to the officers. And they did a whole tour of the house, and they didn't find them. And my grandma tells me that story that, like, she literally saved the family, bro. Literally, like, we never feel that, like, that's war. That's things they felt on the reg because the war was on their turf. We never had a war on our turf, bro. Never.
No.
Never. But if we did, that's the shit that we would have encountered. World War was always away. All of them were away. Even the latest one with the Twin Towers, everything's away. Nothing's here.
And that's why that was so shocking.
It's something very good that we do.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to talk about war and wish it upon anything. It's the
worst
thing. It's the worst thing in the world,
though.
but
I like this.
It gives you a perspective of how important it is to live a war.
Where did your grandmother live in Greece when that happened? Northern border-ish?
About an hour and a half away from Thessaloniki. But north.
Yep.
By the mountains.
I have been... I like going down different rabbit holes throughout the year and finding new things to get curious about, reading books on stuff that, just... I try to find things that blow my mind that I can't concept and then try to make the best sense of them. And so for the last 2 or 3 weeks, I have been, in whatever free time I have, which isn't that much, but late at night, I have been obsessively studying the rise to World War II and the rise of Nazi Germany. And in that, I've also gone deep on the Holocaust. Again, I've done that several times. That concept will never, ever not stun me as to what that is. And I encourage everybody to do that. And I'm not saying you got to do it every year, but go through and look at the shit that happened, read about it, watch documentaries on it. I don't give a fuck what you do. But remember, that was 75 years ago when that happened.
It wasn't too long ago
at
all.
And these types of stories that occurred where people were forced to do that, it's, dude, do you know how fast, here's the other thing too. Do you know how fast that came together? Like how fast Hitler, not just like Hitler became Hitler. Hitler was, maybe he was top 5 scumbags to ever walk the face of this earth. And by the size
of... An amazing leader, though. He led a lot of people.
And you'll get shit for saying that, but I understand.
I'm not saying it's a great leader. He can be a bad... He's a very bad leader.
I actually
gotta put that on.
No. What the fuck? No, I'm gonna explain right now.
Billions of people followed him, and he was talking shit.
That is one of the things.
But he's a leader.
That is
he could talk.
Yes, that is one of the things I'm studying. I understand.
Speak.
I understand exactly what you mean.
I'm probably not saying it right, but
no, I know what you mean. It's not when
me up.
Yeah, amazing isn't the best word, but it is the word to describe it because that's how he pulled this off. Mm-hmm. He pulled this off in a span of basically, he was pissed off after World War II and then started this movement in 21, tried a government takeover, which is like crazy to watch, like how that whole beer hall rebellion thing, check that out. Wild what they tried to do. Like, it blows my mind that people could be like, yo, if we take the police force, we could take the country. Like, nuts. That's what he tried to do. Got arrested. Only spent a couple years in jail. But from then when he got out of jail, you said it, 6 years. I'll even expand it though. 6 years, 1927 to 1933. That's how long it took for the Nazis to get significant power and for him to become a chancellor. The rhetoric that got us to World War II and got the psychotic shit, like with the Holocaust and everything, that wasn't ready in 1933. He led through 1939 and got them ready to that. Yeah. And I study this because you talk about, we haven't experienced that here and whatever. Things can change very quickly. Just because we haven't experienced it here does not mean that it can't happen. And I don't want it to happen. People will be like, we need a war to toughen our fucking country up. That is not how I want it. That is a fucking worst thing ever.
You don't want to wish war for anything.
It's the worst thing ever.
It's the worst thing that can happen.
But people rest on their laurels and they get very complacent that, it can't happen to us. Go look at Germany, man. Because you said it. He was a leader in the sense that he was very talented at fucking speaking and knowing how to capture people's attention and psych things up. And one of the most stunning things about what I've been studying, my Eureka moment, is that I have seen...
I'm so happy you said Eureka moment.
Why?
Because that's Greek.
Is it really?
You're joking.
Fucking everything. You said pasta's Greek.
Fuck you,
said rice
you don't know
Greek.
this.
I don't know this.
The Eureka moment?
Is that like from the fucking Trojans?
Archimedes
Archimedes
developed the law of buoyancy. He created the law of buoyancy.
Is that like floating and shit?
Yeah, floating. That's why all the ships, all the container ships are Greek ships. Sheep fleets are all Greek.
Wait, what?
The fleet, the Greek boats, the boats that bring containers over from overseas, over the pond, are Greek boats. The majority of them are.
What?
They're
not.
Yes. You didn't...
Because Eureka happened fucking 10,000 years ago.
They're
Greek boats.
Listen to me. Eureka moment came from Archimedes,
Archimedes.
who developed the law of buoyancy.
Yes,
he was sitting on a tub. This is a fact. Yes. He was sitting on a tub and he was drinking wine, and he was thinking to himself how he can create a very, very big boat, very big, heavy boat float. Because one of the Egyptian pharaohs back in the day said, okay, you're a philosopher, you're a mathematician, I want you to make this big-ass boat, and I want you to make it travel with all this stuff on it. And he's thinking, how can I make something so big float and travel? So he's sitting on the edge of his bathtub, and he's drinking red wine. And he falls back. He falls backwards because he's so drunk. And then he had a Eureka moment, and he ran onto the streets of Greece, of Athens, and he started screaming, Dovrika, Dovrika. Dovrika in ancient Greek means I found it. Eureka, I found it. Dovrika.
Dovrika. Why
Dovrika
we change
in
it
modern
to EU?
Dovrika in modern Greek means I found it. And in ancient Greek, Eureka is I found it. And he figured out that if he weighed the water that was displaced from the tub, it should equal or be less or more. I don't know about the math, but that's where he got the fact that the water displaced, if you measure it, should be equal or more or less than the weight of the object. That's how the law of buoyancy was created from Archimedes. And that's how the Eureka moment that you just said, Eureka, came into play, Malaka. It's fucking Greek. Eureka.
This Greek history moment has been brought to you by Pat Select Pizza. Warrington, Washington Township. Go there. Anyway, yeah. Dude, I can't ever miss.
You didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that.
What the fuck, Malaka?
Of course,
it's
you know what?
I make pizzas and I know that.
I actually believe that one. Because other times you'll just be like, yo, that's Greek. And then I'll be like, why? You're like, just because it is. That one,
I'm just a pizza bar man.
You had a full story, so we'll fact check that afterwards. But it sounded pretty convincing to me.
No, dude, it's the fact.
Dovrika was Eureka.
Eureka in ancient Greek means I found it. Which in modern day Greek, it's Dovrika.
Now, was Eureka Latin or was it Greek? This makes a difference.
It's the same thing.
That's not the same thing.
It's the same
you
thing.
Cannot say that.
It's the same thing.
Because that includes Italy, it includes France, it includes fucking...
Everything Italy they got from Greeks.
Oh,
Greeks were before.
No, you
Greek
didn't.
Civilization was before
Bullshit. Bullshit. I'm calling bullshit on you.
The Greek civilization was before the Italian civilization.
Come on.
Malaka, what do you mean? Come on, it's a fact. The Greeks came first and then the Italians.
Still
what?
It was small enough that there were cultural norms there, and it's not just those two, like the Roman Empire and the Spartacus Empire, whatever the fuck it was called.
Latin.
But I'm saying, like, it all derived from the different empires in that time, right? The language?
Yes, it derived.
Okay.
It changed. Yeah, but I'm telling you, bro, that's how it is. Like, if you... Dude, you can
Stay
find
close
this...
to the mic. Yeah.
You can find this on YouTube. You can find this on YouTube.
Right.
I'm telling you. If
Check
you Google, like, the law of buoyancy, Eureka moment, I guarantee you I can find it.
The law of buoyancy, Eureka moment.
I guarantee you I can find it.
I gotta spell buoyancy.
Go to
videos.
It right. Go to videos.
All right. If it's YouTube, we can't watch it.
Malaka, it's the first one. The first one.
I know, but we can't watch it because it's on YouTube, so we're taking somebody's content.
Can we pause? Malaka, you have to watch this.
I gotta piss real quick, so let's pause. We're gonna watch it. If people want to check this out, Google law of buoyancy, Eureka moment, and it's the first. Go to videos.
Archimedes.
And it's called The Real Story Behind Archimedes. Did I say that right?
Eureka.
Eureka. Armand de
Eureka
Angor.
moment.
So you'll check that out. And then we'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we're back. Okay. Eureka happened in Greece. I'll agree with that. But the one guy was from Syracuse. He was an Italian. He was from Syracuse in Sicily. So I don't know who that was, but someone was. That's kind of fucking nuts, though. Oh, now you got no time to talk shit. Now you're just looking at me.
Malaka, the Greeks invented
you were just screaming
everything.
At me. They didn't invent everything. This is where you start generalizing and act like they invented every single thing that ever happened. It's not true.
When it comes to science and when it comes to math, in science and in art, they did a lot.
They invented a lot.
They did a lot.
I agree.
With nothing.
What do you mean with nothing?
With nothing.
What do you mean with nothing?
With nothing. They didn't have the stuff that we have here now.
That's every civilization.
The equipment.
It's not just Greeks. It's every civilization didn't have those things.
Yeah, well then why didn't they come up with it?
But other civilizations did come up with shit back then.
They missed the
You
train.
haven't heard of Galileo, have you?
They missed the train, my
They
friend.
didn't miss Galileo didn't miss the train. The church almost killed him for what he did. He came up with the whole solar
system. The Greeks
system.
knew about the atmosphere, about the planets, the way they're rotating around the sun, all this stuff about astronomy. Bro, are you kidding me?
Yeah, they knew some of that shit, but Galileo finished the deal. He got it right. That's what matters.
No, he didn't get it right. He perfected it. But the Greeks came first. The Greeks came first. You have to give credit to where it's due.
On certain things.
No, on everything.
Not on everything. You can't say that. That's a total generalization.
Why?
Why? Because they didn't.
Why? Why didn't they? Tell me something.
All right, they got the Eureka thing right. I'll give you that.
Okay, let's continue off. Astronomy. Greeks came first. Next.
What else?
Math. Greeks came first.
There's a lot of math out there. They didn't come first on everything. Was Fibonacci Greek?
Malaka, these people you're talking about perfected it, okay? They perfected it. But who created it? It's like...
What happened?
It's like AI would have never been AI without Isaiah, without Magic, without MJ.
Allen Iverson.
Yeah. He had to have gotten some inspiration from something before him. He was watching films from people before him, and that's what developed the amazing magical AI. But you have to give credit to where it's due from the founders, from the OGs.
I will still give credit. I'm just saying.
OGs to the Greeks.
You act like they got everything. They probably didn't get everything.
Everything.
They did not get everything.
Oh my god.
This is an unwinnable
Even
battle.
pizza. Even pizza.
Oh god, here we go.
Even pizza.
Here we go. The Greeks
Even
did not
sauce.
invent pizza.
Yes, they did.
They did not invent
They invented
sauce.
white pizza, and then the Italians took it, and they perfected it, and they put sauce on it.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. White pizza was first invented in Greece. Pizza.
I'm not even going to fact check that. I'm not even going to do it.
Malaka, if you want to take another 50-minute intermission to see that you're wrong, go ahead.
We just did like the first intermission in the history of this goddamn podcast.
I'm telling
to
you,
watch
bro.
your video that also gave me... Yeah.
No,
all right.
I'm biased.
Oh, okay.
I'm Greek.
All right.
That's how I'm going to be.
Clearly.
Let's continue on.
Back to the original point, though. My Eureka moment.
Your
my
Eureka moment.
My Devrika. Is that how I say it?
Eureka.
No, but was it
have to roll your
Devrika
R.
now?
Now it's Dovrika.
Dovrika.
I found it.
My Dovrika moment
Your Dovrika moment.
in studying the rise of the worst sociopath in modern history, or just maybe in history in general, was that, and I want to be very careful how this is said before I say it, because people take things out of context on everything. And one of the things I hate about referring to Hitler is that anyone now who dislikes something, regardless of political party, calls someone else in the other political party or of another belief Hitler. We got to stop that. That is, they've killed the word. And the word should hold meaning, because that should never fucking happen again. But as humans, we've proved to be absolutely, I can't say the word I want to say right now, but we've been very stupid over the course of history, forgetting things. And then history repeats itself. And so what scared me the most about watching Hitler is I saw very strong themes from both the Republican and Democrat parties in our country right now. So I'll pick off the Republicans, and this is why I hedged this out front, because I don't want people taking me out of context here. But you called him like a leader in that way. You're 100% right. He unfortunately was.
He could be a leader in a bad way.
He
was a leader in a bad way.
Yes, exactly. But the way that he captured attention, making people think it was good, his style, minus the fact that he was not funny. He was not known to be funny at all. Like, he didn't have a sense of humor. He was just He was a very...
Spoke to the Commonwealth.
Yes, he was a vitriolic orator. There are a lot of Trump vibes in what he did and how outlandish he was with opinions that weren't backed by evidence. And it scared me because I saw so much of the same... Like, Trump came in... he started to talk in 2012, 2013, right? And then came in 2015, 2016. The global recession happened in 08, 09. In 1919, when Germany signed, or 1920, one of them, when they after World War I was over and they signed the Treaty of Versailles, and then their currency was worth nothing, and they owed all these other countries a ton of money, and all their people were poor and burning Deutschmarks for fire. Hitler started talking a few years after that. And then he got arrested with the beer hall thing because it was too early, right? And then in 1927, he started to go for power after 6-7 years. Scary. Scary how similar that is. Now, the reason I say I'm careful with that is because as much as Trump did fucking crazy things and said crazy things and whatever, the guy was not Hitler by any sense of the... That is a ridiculous assertion to make. It's another hill I will die on. You can think he was a total asshole. I'll agree with you. You can think that he wasn't a good president. At this point, I'll definitely agree with you on that. You can think a lot. Some people can think like he had bad intentions. Fine. If you want to think that, fine. He's not Hitler. But the way that he captured attention, the desperation that he captured it out of, he captured it from people, the descendants of the Tea Party movement, people who were lost, left behind. Very, very similar. Then, when I look at the sycophants around Hitler, right, I can make some comparisons to Trump's inner circle and the people around him, but the way that, like, the guys like Joseph Goebbels and Goring, who was he was a whole bunch of different jobs, but he was in charge of like the Air Force and Prussia, and Goebbels was the propaganda guy. Like, they literally called him the propaganda minister, which is insane. Owned all the media. And then, Himmler, who was maybe the most evil. I mean, they were all evil, but he might have been the most evil of all of them. He's the guy who like came up with the Holocaust scenario. Like, it was his plan. He was the head of the SS. These guys all wanted to please Hitler so much, but the way that they led society was with complete fear. You brought this up with something else earlier, but they led it by telling everyone the worst things that could happen and then actually trying to show that they already were. So they made, and the main culprit of everything they did is they scapegoated the Jewish people and said, like, oh, it's their fault we lost World War I. Never mind the fact a lot of German Jews fought for goddamn Germany in World War I. They conveniently forgot that and made this ridiculous assertion. And they led people to the well. And I almost don't forget where we were. Oh, I know what it was. We were talking about how fast this can happen. Mm-hmm. That, I won't even count like the early years when he got arrested and tried the beer hall rebellion. 1927 to 1939 is 12 years. In 12 years, on September 1st, 1939, when they invaded Poland and opened up all the ghettos and rounded up all the Jews and started doing it across Europe, and the concentration camps had been open before that, but actually started the process now. That is 12 years where they went from Germans who were living happily with their Jewish fellow citizens, right, to now turning a blind eye and not caring that they were being sent off to wherever the fuck, most likely never to be seen again. Not caring that things like Kristallnacht were happening. Not caring that but put that aside for a second, Hitler was trying to take over, he was invading all these countries that had done nothing wrong, trying to like take it over. And people got so caught up in this that then no one, like his circle was so strong and the circle around that was so strong that no one would stand up to it and war came home. And so when you brought up the original point of like your grandma hid Jews in Greece, that's where this was a world war. That's where things stretched.
Of course.
Your grandma has an appreciation for how desperate and horrible and evil things can get.
Dude. War... When it comes to war, my grandma tells me stories of war. And we can't relate. We don't know what it's like to be hungry, bro. To be starving. To be hungry and not have anything to eat. We don't know that feeling. I don't know what it's like, bro. You know what I mean? When I'm hungry, I eat. The hell? If I'm starving, I'll eat cereal. I'll eat a bagel. I'll eat something. Imagine not having anything to eat, nothing. And you're hungry for days.
And any of you can die at any minute because you pissed off the wrong person.
You're hungry.
Your friends can be rounded up and sent to camps.
And that's where you begin doing things that you wouldn't ever want to do, man. Ever. Hunger. That's why my grandma, till this day, my grandma, my Yaya Sofia, my dad's mom, when she cooks for 40 people. She doesn't know how to cook for me and my little brother and my dad and my mom, for 4 people. She doesn't know how to. She cooks for like 30 plus people all the time. All the time. She can't cook for one person. She doesn't know how to. And it puts things into perspective for you. It really does. And it's because of history. We're talking about history.
Yeah.
And that's why I think I have such a passion for food, and I have such a passion for the feeling of welcoming somebody and hospitality. I think for me personally, it goes beyond a restaurant. It's like it's my roots. It's what I lived, how I was raised.
Do you believe in that?
Yeah.
The concept of, I don't know the name for it. My friend Grant Wiley talks about this a lot, but where you can feel, even like ancestors you never knew, you can feel things from where you originally emanated from, or like experience it. Yes.
Yes, bro. I danced in the Pontic dance group, which is like a Greek ethnic dance group, for 8 years. And my ancestors, my grandma's parents, came from a dialect called Bondian, which were the Greeks that I told you. The Greeks were enslaved for 350 years by the Turks.
When was that?
I'm very bad at history. Very bad at history.
But we're talking about history.
But
I'll Google it. Keep going.
1910,
Keep going.
1910, 1920s.
Yeah, keep going.
Early 1900s. The Greeks were enslaved by the Turks for 300 plus years. And they developed this dialect called the Bondian dialect. And it was like it was a language that we created between Greek and Turkish. I don't know. Am I right, bro, with the history?
Yeah, you are.
When is the Pondian?
I'm looking at it roughly. I didn't Google that because I didn't know how to spell it. But it was the Ottoman Empire.
Ottomans, yes.
Right. So it was probably, just based on the years I'm looking at quickly, it was probably
20s,
between
30s.
No.
When?
Like, you're talking about a 350-year period, right?
They were enslaved for 300 years.
Yes, that's what I'm talking. So that was like from the 15th century into the 18th century kind of deal.
And then they left.
Yes.
After the slavery, they left and they went to Greece. My grandma, she went to Greece, and her parents and my grandma didn't know how to speak Greek because they spoke Pondian, which was a dialect. So they considered us as foreigners. And they wanted to kick us out of Greece. They were like, "You're not Greek. Like, you don't speak Greek. You speak Turkish. Like, go back. Pondian. You're Pondian. You're not Greek." So the Greeks from modern day Turkey didn't really know where to go. They're like, "All right, we're in Turkey. They say we're Greeks. Go to Greece. And then when we go to Greece, they say, go to Turkey. You're not Greek. You're a foreigner. Where do we go?"
Yeah.
So that's why, like, I have such a passion and pride for where I come from. And for 7 years, I danced in the Greek ethnic dance group, Pondian dance group. Is
that dialect still around?
It's a dialect that's still around, and the dances were designed and choreographed. They're war dances. They're dances that were performed before war, before battle, or after battle of victory. So the uniforms are gold and black with bullet straps across, like fake bullet straps across from here and here, and headbands that cover their hair, and it incorporates a lot of the choreography. Involves a lot of stomping to intimidate the opponent, and a lot of like loud gestures of like loud movements and loud screams and a lot of stomping to scare the opponent. So that's where like the history comes from, and like Bondian is still like in my blood,
Yes.
and it's still like who I am today. Even though like I listen to Bondian music and I don't understand, it's completely different than Greek.
Yeah.
It's like a completely different dialect. I only understand like some words, but like at my wedding, I'm definitely gonna dance Bondian, and it's something that really like it grounds me, and it really like it represents me. You know what I mean? Because my grandma came from there.
Yeah, you
and
carry that legacy.
my grandma raised me. You know what I mean? And like when someone comes into my restaurant, when someone comes into my house, I treat them like that. Like, oh my God, like you came into my house. I have to care for you. I have to feed you. Are you hungry? Are you thirsty? That's why we like in high school, bro. Like I always had an abundance of food.
Oh.
Always. Even though people were hungry, I had an abundance of food because I had the luxury to be able to provide that for somebody. So like even though like I would tell my parents, I would tell my grandma, I'm like I'm having my friends from high school over, I'm having a party, but like they already ate. Like we don't need food. They're like, no. You have the privilege to feed someone. Give them food. They'll take it home. They'll eat the next day. They have that kind of philosophy. You know what I mean? And in this day and age, we really don't. Like, you order a big steak, you don't eat it, you don't take it to go. You don't. But I'm wired too. You know, I'll eat it the next day, or I'll give it to someone else.
Taking it for granted.
Yeah, taking it for granted. And that's why I think like I have such a passion for not just like serving people and welcoming people and the hospitality when it comes to the restaurants, but it's even like the privilege to be able to feed somebody good food, fresh food.
I understand.
And give an
what you're
abundance
saying.
of food. Like a lot of restaurants, bro, they overcharge pasta. We give a pound of pasta. What's pasta? What does pasta cost us? Nothing. It's pasta.
20 cents a pound?
We give a pound of pasta to our guests because it's pasta. Like, it doesn't cost us anything. Why not give them an abundance of it? At a point, like, we do it where it, like, devalues our quality, but, like, it's our homemade sauce. It's our recipe. We make it in our commissary. It's not like a sauce that you can buy from Walmart.
You give away pasta for free?
No, but we give a pound of pasta.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
The competition doesn't give a pound of pasta. They may give like a 0.8, 0.7. But we're like, what the fuck? It's pasta. Let them eat. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't cost us anything. Our pasta for a pound is better than the norm, but we give an abundance of it.
Yeah.
But it kind of messes with your mind. It's like, oh my God, they can give us so much. It must not be that good. But you go to like a high-end restaurant and they give you like a plate this big and they give you like pasta this small. And you're like, oh my God, it's probably like amazing pasta. But it's perception.
Yes.
The power of perception is so tricky. It plays with your mind.
Perception's a funny thing, man.
Perception is a very funny thing. But like coming back to my roots, like we give very good food, very fresh food. And if it doesn't cost us much, we're going to give as much as we can. But because we do give as much as we can, it messes up with the...
You mess up the chair there?
It messes up with their perception. The leap I'm making there listening to you that I like
and correct me if I'm wrong here, but there's like a different way that the same priorities from the roots manifest themselves, even if you can't explain it. But like when you're talking about giving an abundance of shit to people, you know, to like serve them, you know, and that's also your business or whatever.
Like
but that's
be
how
large.
that's how you are in real life too, like at your house and whatever.
Yeah.
It comes from a totally different place, but from the same like type of lineage relationship to the fact that back in the day, you know, when shit was hitting the fan and you had food, you shared it with everyone.
Exactly.
And
that's
so,
how we survived.
That's beautiful.
We shared it.
Yeah.
The Pondian dialect and philosophy and culture wouldn't be here today if they didn't know how to share their meals. If they say, okay, you know what? I'm satisfied. I ate. I'm good. I'm not starving anymore. Here's some for you. You eat now. And that's how we survived. Well, not we, like me, but like that's how my ancestors survived. And that's how I was kind of like raised by my grandma. Like, dude, even till this day, dude, my grandma only asks me 2 questions. What did you eat and when did you eat? Like, she doesn't ask me anything else.
Yeah.
It's, what did you eat and when did you eat it? That's it. She only cares about my appetite. It's nothing else she cares about. It's because she lived through starvation, through wars of being hungry, man. We've never felt that.
Yeah.
Because of that.
Yeah.
We never felt it. We don't know what it's like. So, when
It's
someone comes into my restaurant and when someone orders a cocktail at my bar, I'm like, oh my God, like, dude, they're like at my house. Like, I have to make them say ooh and ah and jump. Like, a good drink and good food isn't enough anymore. It's about entertaining them right now. So I'm like, I step up my level. It's not about that anymore. Like, anyone has good food now. Anyone can give you a good cocktail. It's about, like, making some, like, entertainment. I'm in the entertainment business at this moment. That's the way I look at it.
God, there's so much there. So much there to unpack. I don't know where to go with it. I like, how do you pronounce that again? The
dialect?
The Turkish Greeks? Yeah.
Pondian.
And where do they live now?
Along the current Turkey, along the Black Sea.
In Greece?
No. In Turkey still.
Oh, they still live in Turkey?
There are still a lot of Pondians in that region. It's called the Pondo. It's still called the Pondo. It's along the Black Sea in modern-day Turkey. They speak Pondian.
By the Greek border, though?
Yes.
Pondo.
Pondos. Pondos.
Pondos, Turkey.
And Pondos, Turkey. Yeah.
These people, do they...
Pondos region. Yeah,
do they speak Turkish, too? Or?
No, they speak Pondian, which is like...
so how do they... Like, are they their own government? Like, what's the...
No, it's a dialect. It's a dialect. Like, Milan speaks a little bit different than Rome. They have their own dialect. It's kind of like that. It's like a cross between Greek and Turkish.
So this actually reminds me, because this is one I'm very personally familiar with. Like, and you bring up Italy. Mm-hmm. Italy, the entire country, there's like 25 different dialects.
Exactly.
And some
like
of
you
them...
could say something in Rome and it may not make sense in Milan.
Now,
they're like, what the fuck are you saying?
In Milan and Rome, though, as an example, it's more like... It's closer to an American talking with a British person, right? There's a lot of overlap, right?
Or you can say an American, or you can say someone from New York talking with someone from Texas,
and that might not be wrong, but there tends...
or Alabama.
Yeah, and actually,
you could say that
for that example. It might be right because those are 2 metropolises. I don't remember.
There's completely different dialects,
right?
Different words, different slang.
But like, you go to Sicily. Different language.
Yeah.
Different language.
Exactly.
Like if people have watched The Godfather, which if you haven't, it's the greatest movie of all time, so do yourself a favor and turn this off and watch that. Okay, I see it. Yeah, we have that's Pondos right there.
Pondos region on the Black Sea.
Got it. I'll put that in the corner of the screen right here so people can see it. But okay. So if you look at Sicily though and what they are, I spent a lot of time out there when I was over there. I was over there for 2 stretches. And that island has been proverbially conquered. It's not different in the sense that the way that the Pontus region formed is that they were conquered and they had to survive as slaves, and then they found this new dialect and then they got stuck.
They burnt it. They were forced to leave.
They were right.
Yeah,
and so,
they were burnt.
But then they didn't have a home anymore because they came to Greece and they're like, "What the hell are you?"
Yeah, they were
in
savages.
In Sicily, they were repeatedly over thousands of years conquered. And so the language changed again and again and again. And what's interesting is, one thing that Sicily unfortunately has is that to this day, even though they haven't been conquered now in, I don't know, like 90 years, 100 years, maybe 150 years, it's been a while, that the subsequent generations have been fucked because the lineage in that region of Italy trusts nothing. And I don't blame them, right? Because their great-great-great-grandfathers passed it on down. Like, you trust nothing because we got conquered over and over again. And so what? The mafia takes over. And that's why you have this. I mean, look, there's the Calabrian mafia, there's the Neapolitan mafia. Like, these are very, very powerful sects on the mainland of Italy. But the original mafia is from Sicily, and that's the most famous place it was. It runs the entire island.
Does it still to this day?
Oh, my God, dude. I will never forget walking through the streets. I think it was Catania, which is on the east coast of Sicily. I got lost, like, where we were going. I was with my girlfriend at the time. This is back, like, I don't know, 7 years ago. We got lost at, like, 1 a.m. in the morning in Sicily, which is not, like, the greatest look. And we were like, okay, hotel is definitely within 2 miles, but, like, we were very confused where we were at, and we couldn't get service. So I'm like, all right, let's figure this out. And I found a guy who was, like, drinking a Peroni on the street, and I'm like, all right, let's roll the dice here, let's see what he's about. Nice guy. And he said, oh, come on, like, very good Italian guy. And so we start walking, and he's going to bring us to a place that's within like a mile of the hotel where there's a cab that's straight shot right down. And as we're walking along, I start talking with the guy, and I could talk, I don't remember how the fuck to do it. I don't even remember how to talk Italian, but I could talk a little bit of Sicilian. Like, I don't know why. I had just been there. I heard some things. And, like, there was a little bit of it that I could talk. And this guy could speak a lot of main dialect, too. So he was, like, kind of laughing because he could go back to main dialect. I guess he had spent some time in Rome. But I ascertained he was from Sicily and whatever. And the line he said, I'll never forget. He said, I love it here, but I can't wait till I get to leave. And I was like, what? How does that make sense? And he goes, I love it here, but I can't wait till I get to leave. And again, I look at him, and I said, why do you want to leave? And I swear to God, straight out of a goddamn movie, stops in the middle of the road, like turns to me full on, very calm, like not angry or whatever, and he goes, and holds his arm over and points at a wall, and I look over at the wall, and there's a bunch of graffiti all over the wall, and in the middle, there's a big word that says mafia. Mm-hmm. He said, mafia. And I'm like, really? Still? And he goes, still? They run everything. Mm. And that's the like, you talk about wars and whatever, and that's one thing. But like, when lands are proverbially in positions where they are constantly in turmoil, maybe the wars aren't still happening. Maybe they have the breaks from that, but society never resets. I mean, look at the Middle East. We went into Iraq, right? We took out Saddam Hussein. What did that do? Because society was completely at a terrible position, and so many desperate people, and so many factions, like a vacuum, fighting for power at the end, that you can't just put that genie back in a bottle. We think in America, like, oh yeah, you just fucking create a government. People will fucking pay their taxes. No, that's not how it works. People will find the way to lead whatever the opportunity is that says they can lead. And the mafia is so goddamn powerful over there that we don't like to talk about it, but frankly, thank God they existed during World War II, because that's how we took Europe. I mean, we went through Sicily, and I forget what the operation was called. I forget what it was called. But we took Sicily with the help of the goddamn mafia, and then started to take Europe, which, that's a devil's bargain, but I'll take that one over again, obviously, no doubt. Like, I think that was fine.
Going back to the soccer conversation?
Yeah.
It's still owned by the mafia.
Oh, in Italy.
In Italy.
Oh, fuck
and
yeah.
that's how they're so good, man.
Yeah.
They have so much money.
Yeah. You know where they get the money.
They have great players, man. Yeah.
That's where they get the money, man.
They do, man. But like Napoli, Juventus, like these teams, bro. They don't do well in Champions League, but they always have great players. And they always finish top of the table. Always.
It's crazy that shit runs stuff.
Always. Yeah. Not just what you're saying, but even sports.
Yeah. It's
even
everything.
Sports.
It's society.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's everything. It's everything.
It's just
crazy.
I'm thinking about this stuff
here
more
it's
and
pretty
more.
much dead. In New York, they wiped out the mafia, bro. It's finished. Pretty much.
It is,
dude. It's
very, very. So
once back like in
all right. I'm
late '80s, early '90s, they did Gotti. They wiped him out.
Listen,
dude.
I'm gonna push on this a little bit. You're not totally wrong.
It's not 100% gone, but for the most part, once they did that number on John Gotti, it was over. They wiped out the mafia in New York.
A guy who I've known through my grandpa for like, I don't know, the last 15 years, Jules Bonavolanta. He was one of the head FBI agents in FBI in the New York. He was in other offices, but in the New York offices, specifically in the late 70s, all through the 80s and into the early 90s, working with Louis Freeh, Rudy Giuliani, back when he was not crazy, and like all these guys, and they took down the 5 families, and they consummated with them taking down Gotti. And so I remember talking with Jules maybe like a decade ago, and he was explaining, yes, they've been cut off at the knees compared to what they were, and he's right. And he talked about how the Russian mob is now the big problem because those guys are fucking crazy, and it's even in today's society, like it's an issue.
Their hooligans are crazy.
However,
soccer hooligans are crazy too.
That's a false equivalency, but okay. However, the thing about the Italian Mafia, though, is that when I lived up there and moved there, I didn't know any of those guys, right? Like, I went to places that they frequented sometimes. Everyone did, right? Like, I didn't fucking know personally any of them. I was at places where some of those guys were sometimes. Like
randomly stumbled upon them.
Yes. And the thing that shocked me, because I knew a lot of people who had been directly affected by it, is how much it does still exist. It stunned me.
Over there?
No. Here. Bro. I can't tell these stories on air. I never would. I'll tell you off air. Sorry to the people. I can't.
Not at the
level it did. Not even close.
Yeah. No,
not even close.
No.
But the way it's painted is that you would think it was like this fledgling, they fucking rip off a poker game here and there and that's it organization. It's not. They very much, like, especially if you have an Italian last name in North Jersey, they're leeches, man. They will find a way. They don't give a fuck who you are. They will find a way into your business. That's like, that shocked me. But some of the things that firsthand accounts I got from that, I mean, can't deny it.
Yeah.
You can't deny it. But what do you got going on now with the restaurant? I know we're gonna get out of here soon because you're fully open. You got brunch going now?
Brunch. We introduced brunch. We're gonna introduce it in Township really soon.
Really?
Yep.
You're gonna do that BYOB?
Yep.
That could get fun.
It's an amazing product, man.
Yeah.
It's like a city brunch. It's not like your diner brunch. It's a very trendy brunch menu. And it's amazing, man. It's like, okay, yeah, we have French toast, but it's the best fucking French toast you'll ever have.
The best French toast I'll ever have.
The best French toast you will ever have.
Did the Greeks invent French toast?
Probably.
They invented French toast.
Nutella, almonds, bananas. It's whipped cream spread. It's very trendy. It's not like your normal like diner brunch. It's a very trendy brunch menu. Your croque madames, your beignets, your avocado toasts with burrata. It's very like a New York City brunch.
Did you design the menu?
No, not me. Our chefs. I don't do anything.
You do the cocktails.
I just make sure everyone comes and leaves with a smile, man. I don't do anything else.
That's the most beautiful thing.
That's it, man.
How's Drake doing?
Excellent.
He's doing well.
Shout out to Drake. Super job.
Shout out to Drizzy.
And that's his next project, the Brunch. And that's Township's new project.
Oh, Drake will kill Brunch.
I'm sure
Drake
he
was
will.
born for Brunch.
I'm sure he will.
No doubt about it.
I'm sure.
Dude, I had to get you on here. I couldn't do this without you.
This was fun.
Good.
This
You
was
warmed
fun.
up.
This was good.
You did.
I hope I did a good job. I don't know how I did.
You did well.
I guess everyone's going to tell us with reviews and comments and stuff, but I hope I did a good job, and I hope people enjoyed it. And I'm happy I got to chill with you and see your
Always a
new
good
revamping of everything and have a drink with you, bro, and kick it with you because we go way back, man.
We're getting there, man.
We really do.
We're getting there.
We're getting older, and we...
Could you imagine like something like this, like when we were like 5? Like doing, you know what I mean?
Never.
Like life was so simple. Shooting fucking hoops, fighting over Madden, who was going to play with the Rams and Marshall Faulk. Now we're sitting here recording a goddamn podcast. What a world.
Yeah.
Look at you. You're fucking killing it, too.
Look at us, man.
Look at us.
Look at us.
Not bad. Hey.
Cheers,
Thanks for doing
bro.
it, brother.
Thanks for having
Cheers.
me, man.
I think I got your cadence down on mic now. Your cadence is different on mic. I noticed. Like, I think because you're getting used to it. So, like, there were some times today where I thought you were done. Like, you kind of backed up and looked at me, and I'm like, oh, I got to talk now. And then you'd be like, but then!
Oh, you're talking about this?
Yeah. So next time I'm ready.
I don't know,
But this
man.
was fun.
When it comes about just like topics that... I'm a very emotional person.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I am. I'm very emotional. I'm very competitive and I'm very emotional. And that's like my gift and my curse sometimes. Because when I have like a passion for something, bro, I give it all. I give it everything I got. Like the cocktail world. Now I've developed a passion for cocktails. And I fucking go all out, bro. I spend $30,000 a year on ice. On fucking ice.
You get the balls? Ice balls?
The cubes. Yeah. From an ice factory in New York City.
Cubes.
The crystal clear ones, bro. They melt in like 40 minutes.
I think that's what those things are what you and I have in common.
I'm very emotional.
Emotional and competitive.
If I lose in FIFA, I'm breaking the remote.
Bro.
The remote is shattered.
I think we've broken a few remotes over each other's heads.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right, dude. Well, great stuff. We will definitely do this again. You're warmed up now. I enjoyed this. I enjoyed the topics. Next time, I want to be able to just let you rip. I know sometimes you were holding back today and pointing at me like you talk.
It's because of the whiskey.
You're great. You're fucking born to do this. So I want you ripping next time completely. But this was a great preview.
Thanks for having me, bro.
All right, dude. We'll do it again soon.
Love you, bro.
Love you too. Everybody else, give it a thought. Get back to me. Peace.